It's just I like to stay loose. I can't like if I'm doing something as fun as painting a mural, like I don't want to be uptight about shit. I want the boombox going and I want shots. Like I just want to be having a good time.
This is the Vertex Podcast. Vertex as in the meeting point between two places. Here is the meeting point between the human and the artist, and hopefully from our conversation to where you are in your creative journey. I'm your host, Yoyocam. I'm an artist and designer based in Stone Mountain, Georgia. My work spans from character designs in video games to large-scale murals in cities all over the world. I'm going to be having conversations each week with creative professionals to get to know more about the human side behind their amazing, amazing work. My hope with that is to show you, the viewer or the listener, that we're all more alike than we care to admit. I post the conversations here each week, and my hope is that piece by piece, conversation by conversation, we can all learn that our dreams are also closer and more accessible and achievable than they appear to be. I hope that you can listen to this conversation and find something that resonates with you, something meaningful, something helpful. Enjoy the episode.
What's up, man?
What's happening? Excited to have you. I'm sure a bunch of
Thanks for
people
having me out. It's always dope hanging out and chilling, man. I was listening to you talk a little bit earlier. It's like, yeah, like we've known each other for a long time, but very rarely do we get the chance to just sit down and talk. It's always like we're painting and talking.
Yeah.
And mostly
Yep. Yep. Having to lock in and get to business, you know. And I think I gave you an introduction, and a lot of people I think that are here probably right now are excited and already know who you are. But for people who don't know who you are, and what you do, can you give us a little intro of just who you are?
yeah, Killamari. I'm an Asian American artist based in Atlanta. I was born down here, but I grew up in the DC, Northern Virginia area. Um, moved down here in like 2007, so I've been down here for a minute for sure. But I grew up there. That's why I don't sound like I'm from. That's like the first thing when I moved there. Like, you sound funny. I was like, no, I sound normal. Y'all sound funny. But yeah, I just like always loved art. I was one of those people that was fortunate to have always stuck with it and have had family that has always supported it, so I didn't have to stray from it. Which is actually pretty rare. Like if you have Asian parents, normally they're like, "You want to do what?" Let's go. You got to be a doctor. You got to be a lawyer or something. But my parents were cool, and they let me like just pursue art forever. And so it's all I've been doing. It's the only thing I know how to do. The only thing I'm good at. I can change a tire. That's about the only other thing I could do. Definitely not like a car guy or a sports guy, nothing like that. I just like to draw all the time.
Yeah, it shows, man. In the work, definitely shows. I was doing a little bit of research on you before the podcast just to see like what kind of things, I can find to ask about you. And I was just looking at the work. I found myself getting distracted. I'm like, yo, I'm supposed to be finding information. I'm just looking at the work. It's crazy. Um, and I
Yeah, I
think,
mean, I love your stuff too, man.
man,
I
appreciate.
feel like we both have like a range in styles, but I feel like we had like if we were like on a menu, we'd be like in the same section.
For sure.
Same flavor.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's why I enjoy your work so much because it's so similar. It's like your work does the things that like I want my work to do, but it's like close enough to where I can kind of see the difference a lot easier, and like it teaches me to work in a certain way to be able to achieve that. Like your work reminds me to keep things like loose and fun. Like anytime I'm watching you do something, I'm always so like dialed in and methodical and tighten it with all my designs, and then I see your stuff and I'm like, why am I even worrying about this stuff? Just like
Right.
freestyle, like it's okay.
I had
And
to get myself out of that though, because for I mean, you've seen my work for a while, but like I had a time where it was just getting too tight too, and it's like it's loose in my sketchbook, But whenever I was doing murals, it would always like get like too tight, and like it was cool for a little bit, but then I just started getting bored of that. It's more fun to like have the piece obviously look like it was done with spray paint or whatever you're using, instead of hiding it by getting too clean.
That's so
So now
interesting.
a little bit more messy. Yeah.
That's interesting that that is because you know it is like that. A lot of people try to go like I mean vector level with the cleanliness, you know, where they're sitting there just dialed all the way in. But it's cool. Like, how do you pull back like that? Like, how do you like if you're already so used to being so clean and so dialed in? How do you do that and maintain like that? Like, how do you not go back and try to fix it? Like, I would be itching and scratching. Like, I cannot.
Right. I feel like it's kind of like when people who paint on canvases, they use like a wide brush or like a really broad brush, but they can't get detailed because the brush is too chunky.
Yeah.
So I started doing the same thing with spray paint. I just don't use the skinny caps anymore. I just stick to like a stock black cap or just like a fat cap. And even with like a fat cap, especially like, like a New York fat, you can get a wide range. But either way, I just try to stick to like a really basic cap, and then like I can't get too clean with it.
Kind of like just force yourself to work with what you got, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm. I literally just bought like an order of skinny caps. I literally have one right here. I'm like, I can't let it go.
All good, man. But if you're buying like, especially like the just like the stock black cap with the orange dot, that's like my new favorite cap. And they're just basic ass caps, but they're I don't know. They're like not too messy, but you still get a fuzzy edge. But if you need to go skinny, as long as you get close enough and press lightly enough, you can still do some line.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. I've been forcing myself to just stick with that stock cap.
Interesting. Interesting. So like with your work itself, um like in terms of the design itself. So that is more so in the execution and keeping things loose in the physical, like the look of it. But in terms of designing, even whenever I'm seeing you drawing on like iPad or on paper, you know, you're able to just play. It always reminds me to like keep things fun and like how do you maintain that sense of like you stay agile when you're designing and how do you do that without like fumbling or like you do something and you're like I fucked it up like
It depends. I like fuck ups, and also like the fuck up is happy accidents. You always find some kind of weird shit in there that you can like make work. And I also think for like coming from an animation background, especially like back in the day, we would sketch stuff with like blue pencils, or comic book artists do the same thing. But you sketch with blue or red, and then once you ink on top of that, it's kind of easy to get rid of the sketch with a scanner because you can just knock out the blue and the red pretty easily. But I started enjoying leaving those sketches in there because it just looked kind of cool to have all those layers of sketches under it. So I've always enjoyed like letting it be a little bit messy, especially when I'm designing, because then I would get pissed off when I like finish it and it's like too clean. Um,
what pisses you off in that
I feel like there's a lot of times where you kind of lose the energy of it, because when you're sketching, there's a lot of action on the page, and you lose that when you start cleaning up too much. I feel like
that's
because you try to like, I don't know, it happens a lot in the animation industry too, where like we'll like design something super cool, but then you have to dumb it down at least a little bit so it's easier to animate. And that makes sense, but sometimes when I just like die a little bit inside, it's like
like that
and then-
layer up under yeah
but I get it. It makes there's a lot of times where I would design a character and I'm like, dude, I dig this, but it's gonna take forever or too expensive to animate. It's like, fine.
having to
Just
like
take the cool jacket off and just put them in a t-shirt or some shit.
interesting that's cool that like you're learning that you learn to like dial back those types of things is that
Yeah.
how is that how is that like a product of having an animation uh type of experience in work or have you always drawn that way like how did you draw how did you approach things
I
with
mean, I'm sure it was. You know, I worked in animation for like, I don't know, 12 years, a little bit over 12 years. So like sometimes it's hard to like go home after that and like not draw the way I've been drawing all day at work, you know? But you do your best not to do that because then like I don't know. I had moments where like I was getting a little stuck in like the day job style and I hated it.
what's the day
Um
job stuff?
well that was when I was working in animation. So I used to work at Floyd County Production local here in Atlanta. The biggest thing that we worked on there or that I worked on there was probably like Archer or Hit Monkey. And there's a lot of like bold line work in both of those shows. Like the line work style is cool, but it's hard to like move away from it sometimes when you're doing that all day, every day.
Okay. I was thinking that you meant like the day job style was like a universal like day job, but I understand you're saying like your particular day job style.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My particular situation, because there's definitely like other cartoons that people work on that are totally different.
Mm.
And they might have similar problems, just with a different look.
I was curious to know more about your upbringing in terms of how it revolved around like making you the person that you are, how your cultural background influences your artwork as well. Like, what kind of values does your like? I know that you put a lot of imagery in your work now, and I just want to know like what parts of your cultural background do you like to keep present and alive just in your artwork and in your life and just as a person? What do you hope people see and get from that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's still a little bit of a moving target. Like I'm still figuring out how I want to incorporate imagery from my culture into my work. Because for a long time I wasn't necessarily doing that. I wasn't avoiding it or anything, but I think like once I had kids, it became more prominent in my work because I wanted them to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And like my oldest is 6 years old, so I would say at least the last 6 years I've been doing it, which is not that long in the bigger picture of me making art. Um, so I'm still figuring that out, but I guess like it definitely starts with my parents, when they moved to well, they didn't move here. They're refugees, they're not immigrants, so they had to come here. Um, when they came here in like the late 70s here to Atlanta, my pops went to Georgia Tech and everything. My mom used to work at that Salvation Army downtown. Um, so like my family, as far as in America, my family starts here in Atlanta. My sister was born here. I was born in Columbus, Georgia, and then my pops got a gig up in DC after he finished Georgia Tech. He was an electrical engineer. But yeah, we've always had roots here in Atlanta, and I guess like for us, I feel like there's like Buford Highway, and then there's Clarkston. Like the pockets of like immigrant communities here in Atlanta. Because a lot of people, when they think about Atlanta, they don't think about those neighborhoods. They think about like, downtown, West Side, whatever. Which I get. But yeah, for us, or at least my family, it was like, yeah, Buford Highway, because that's where all the markets were. Like I can't live far away from Buford Highway's far away.
Man.
If I can't have my groceries,
Mm-hmm.
kind
Yeah.
of food that I grew up eating, like I gotta be at least within 20 minutes driving, like stuff that I grew. Otherwise, what is the point? No way. I can't grow up. Like I can't just have. If my kids didn't eat what I ate growing up, I'd be so.
Yeah. It's important, man. It's important. That's true comfort food
It
right
is
there.
important, and I guess that's one of the things I show in my work a lot is food for sure. That's one of the most relatable things for any culture, really. Like I'll talk to my Puerto Rican buddies. It's like, yeah, we eat the same shit. We just season it different, you know.
Yeah.
Or even talking to Mario, do it like we eat the same. Like we all eat pig feet. We just cook it different.
Yeah. Very true. I've seen that like you put a lot of food in your work too, and that was something that like I was curious about too. Because I mean, everybody likes food, everybody likes to eat, but it seems like your depiction of food, huh?
Can't trust people that don't like to eat.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like
That friend that only eats salad? No, we're not good friends. Not me and that guy. No way.
Mhm. Do you have like a favorite food? if there is one. I know there's like, you know,
You mean like in general or like here in Atlanta?
I mean, either or.
My favorite dish, man, we should have done this at my place because my mom's in town right now. And the first thing to do was cook it. It's called call, and it's like this salty brown stew type dish.
Mhm.
And there's like eggs in it, pork. My favorite way to have it is with catfish. Yeah, it's just salty and you eat it with rice. It's real good.
Mhm.
Death row dish for sure.
A death row dish. Okay.
Yeah. Like my last meal, it would be that.
Gots to have it. Gots to have it. Hmm. So then, okay, so there's the influence that food has. Any other any other principles and values? I know that you even put in some of like the I think that they're deities that you'll draw something like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of fun to show. So I'm half Vietnamese and half Khmer.
Hmm.
That's Cambodian. And like at least on the my Khmer side and Southeast Asian cultures in general, like a lot of people don't really know how different it is from say like China or Korea or something. Because we just get lumped in together. Like everybody think, I mean, people think I'm Mexican, but in general, like you're Asian, they're like, oh yeah, you're Chinese, you're Japanese, whatever. But like Southeast Asia is very Hindu influenced. Like they're Buddhist, but they're like old Buddhists, where it's very there's still a lot of like Hindu values in it, and their deities are all Hindu deities.
Hmm.
Even though they're Buddhist, which is weird and interesting at the same time. But yeah, I like to draw those characters, like the gods with like the six arms and stuff, and each arm is holding something different. I just thought that was cool because when I was younger, I grew up more with more influence from my mother's side because she actually has family in the States. My pops doesn't really have any family here. Uh, So I grew up with more Vietnamese influence growing up. And like, I guess for like other people to understand who don't know about Vietnamese culture, it's pretty heavily like Chinese influence. So there's a lot of similarities with Chinese culture. Um, so I grew up with that. And then it wasn't until like I was studying for my master's degree and we had to come up with a topic to do our thesis on. And I had just traveled to Cambodia and I decided to do my thesis on Cambodian culture because it was a way for me to learn about myself and create art based off of that at the same time. So it was a really fun and cool way to like learn about my background and my heritage.
Interesting. Interesting. You told me before too that you used to go to Cambodia with your dad, like over the summers and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. I forget what was the first year I went, but yeah, we would go like once or twice a year. I met my wife over there and met some of my family on my father's side because he only has family there. He doesn't have any family in the States.
Hmm.
His one sister, basically, there. Because like if you don't know anything about Cambodian history, like there was like a genocide that happened over there and like a bunch of people got wiped out. All my father's family like was they either put in concentration camps or died from starvation, whatever. Like a bunch of crazy shit went down over there. And then like years later, I think I was like 6 years old. My dad like handed me the phone. He was like, "Hey, like found my sister. Talk to my sister." And at the time, I was like nervous because I didn't speak Khmer or anything like that. And plus, I was a little kid. But thinking about it now, it's like, damn, like he didn't even know if his sister was alive or not. Plus, everybody else was gone. I just found out like maybe 2 or 3 years ago that he had like a that he was married and had kids before he had met my mom, but that they had likely died over there during the genocide. But he never talked about it. I like pieced it together because like small world, my wife's mother knew my dad over there.
Oh man.
So they were friends back in the day, and she just let it slip one day. Not that it was a secret, but she brought it up, and I was like, "What? Like sister somewhere?" But
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's really interesting when like certain whenever you find out things. I think like I'm a young adult now, and like as you kind of get older, you start to learn more about like the family lore. Like being the youngest, um we just we never heard anything. Like we never like as the youngest child, I never heard anything. They always just
Yeah,
keep all the lore and stuff away. But as you get older and you start to learn more about some of that, some of the things that happen, right under your nose or like right before you got here and stuff. It's always like interesting because it gives you a lot more context on like parents or just whoever the family member is in question.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
And because I'm a parent now, like I get things more now.
Mm. So then it's like
Different
how
level of understanding for sure.
what'd you say?
Just a different level of understanding of my parents.
For sure. It teaches me. I remember seeing a quote somewhere that said like, remember that it's your parents' first time on Earth too. I think that people will find things out and they might get upset at their parents for like, why didn't you tell me or why did you do this thing or that thing? But it's like they're trying to figure life out too. It's like it's their first time
Oh yeah,
around.
yeah. Especially if they're young parents. Like I waited. I didn't have my first kid till I was like 30. And even then I didn't know what the hell I was.
Interesting. I know now, I mean I don't think I knew you much before you had kids, but I know now like family,
Yeah.
kids especially are like
I mean, you've
super
been
super
supporting us for a long time. I remember you when you were like my height, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you got all this shit. But
yeah.
yeah, you always came to the gallery show when we were painting murals. You always came out. Like I remember you came out, and I was like on top of that building in Hateville.
Yep. That was right
You
down the
like,
street
yeah,
from my
well,
sister
come
house.
down and say what's up. I was on top of that building.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's been like a quite the journey, man. Like, but I know that now, like, I mean, you do not play about your kids or about family in general. And do you think that kind of got increased as you became a father, or was that like, um,
Yeah,
or has it always
yeah.
been
I mean, I like to think I'm a nice guy, but like if you mess with my folks, like you're dead. I'm putting you in the dirt.
for sure?
You know, like I'm super protective of family and people I consider family. You know, like my friends that I've known for a long time. Like I'm just that kind of person. Like I got your back for sure.
That speaking of that and like friends that are like family, I think a lot of people who know you also know about the Lotus Eaters and the Lotus Eaters Club, the full name. And
Yeah,
it's always so fascinating for me. Like I found out about the Lotus Eaters before you, I think. I saw like a Lotus Eaters mural and then I found out who you were. And
yeah, man. That's family.
yeah,
We
like
do Thanksgiving together. We do Christmas together. Like we're family for real.
that's always so that's always so nice to see and it's always it's been interesting because I'm like I want to know how that even started and then uh how's it maintained? Like I want to. Well, first I would like to know like how'd you get that started? How'd you get that going? Or did you start it or who
Yeah,
told you?
yeah. I started it 10 years ago. This is actually the 10th year right now of us being a crew. And like, I mean, it just came from a place of like, when I was younger, like I always liked having a crew, where, like it was art crew or like a graffiti crew. Like I don't consider myself a graffiti artist now, but when I was younger, when I lived up in DC, we used to do graffiti and like I just missed having crew. And so like I think at the time Free Art Friday was a big thing here in Atlanta, like people would go out and do the art drops. And so we kind of got together and just started making art and leaving it around. And half the crew also worked at Floyd County, the animation studio that I worked at. So we have, like a bunch of us had an animation background. And so we started doing these art drops where we made this art, we made animations to go with the art. We had another person at the time make an app. So when you looked at the art, it would start playing music and animation. So if it was like a character on a sticker, we'd give you the sticker or you find the sticker. And
Mm.
if you look at it, like the dude would dance or whatever. Just trying to incorporate like all the different types of art that we were able to do at the time. And it kind of started with that. And then somehow, I don't know, we just fell into murals. And I feel like we're more known for that just because it's a much bigger thing and it's in the public space. But also, like, we just fell in love with that. So we kind of ran with it once we started doing murals. But yeah, man, it just came from a place of missing having a crew, wanting to have a crew. We worked together all day already. And afterward, we would hang out and make a bunch of art and do gallery shows and shit. So like we were always together anyway. And so we just kind of put a name on it, became a crew, and just like been making art together ever since.
You mentioned that you missed having a crew, and so like, was it an official crew that you had up in DC as well, or was it like something more like unofficial, something like?
No, my friends just being a bunch of buddies, just making shit and going to paint shit, you know.
Hmm.
Oh, and that's how Lotus Eaters Club started too. Like it was never really meant to be quote unquote official. Like that was just our group of friends that had a name on it. Because it's just fun, you know. Like yeah, this is the crew. This is our name.
Hmm. That's cool. So how many of it was you like? How many members were there from the start?
10,
10 people.
maybe. I got to go through the names because we've had people like come and go,
Hmm.
but it's always like covered around like 8 to 10 people. I feel like,
So like,
and it's never been like hurt feelings or anything when people come and go. People just like they move or they're just focusing on other things. Um, but yeah, it's crazy because like I guess because of the name, people would hit us up and like, hey, like how do we join the club? Are you guys a company? Whatever. It was like, no, we're just a group of people, and like we just have this name.
that's cool.
Everybody thinks it's bigger, but that's cool too.
Yeah, I used to think the same thing. Like whenever I saw Lotus Eaters Club, I thought it was like maybe something you that might happen like occasionally, and people kind of pull up, kind of like a runners club or something like that. You know, y'all get together
Right,
and
right, right.
do
I
whatever.
mean, it's become more of a thing since then, but at the time it was just like that. There's people with it.
So,
But it's cool, man. Like 10 years running, we're still at it, making art, doing murals and shit. Like I fucking love it.
so how does that like? How do you maintain that? Like, because you guys are all grown now, and some of you guys have kids,
Harder
some are
now.
married, and as you guys get older, I'm sure that the lives just kind of start to separate or drift apart, especially if you guys working all together anymore, like how you used to. So, how do you
Right.
maintain that community, and how do you
Well, there's
line?
definitely effort that we got to put in to do it. It's definitely tougher now, especially for me. You know, like I got kids and like, but it's just like how you would keep in touch with like regular family, blood relatives. You got to put in the work, hit them up. Like, let's have a barbecue. Let's hang out.
Hmm.
Um, and there's definitely moments where I haven't seen someone for like a month or two, and like that sucks. But then when you hang out, it's just a good time. But we always like do the big holidays and shit together too. And like Matilda, she's about to graduate kindergarten.
Oh, nice.
Uncle Mario, do League, he's gonna come out. Like it's 8 in the morning. He don't have to be there, but he's gonna be there because his family.
Yeah. That's cool. It's like it's not a crew. It's literally a family, quite literally.
Yeah, I feel like chosen family's better anyways. Because some of those blood relatives, like,
Yeah, it can be some ones that are like I'm supposed to respect you just because we share the same bloodline. It's like not
yeah,
deserving
that's nice. But sometimes they're just the dirt bags. You don't know.
for sure. So, um, definitely it was Lotus Eaters and some other crews like the Weird Crew with like Night Shows, DXTR, and then even the Helm Studio in Hawaii with Jack and Mark. You guys were all crews that inspired me to want to create my crew, House of Daydreamers. And I've always, I'm just wanting to know more so, um, how do you guys bring together um, that synergy or togetherness, because I feel like listening to how you guys got started, it was something where you guys worked together so much and you guys already had the flow before it became a thing that you wanted to
Yeah.
even start. But for me, it was more so of like a chosen, like, okay, I'm just gonna like pick some people that I work with the most and just kind of have this. But I'm
Yeah.
having trouble with keeping um just having us gel together because it feels like we were all like solo, so
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard. I mean, even like with our crew, like it happens sometimes because everybody has their own things going on, like whether it's personal or work related shit. Everyone has stuff to handle. Um, I don't know. I think it's just you just gotta put in the effort to be together as much as possible, just like you would with family, you know? It's hard. Like we have 9 people now. It's like even like our email, text, deep text, you know what I mean? Like it gets crazy. You ask like a serious question, it's like, hey, this and that, and then then the jokes come in, and then like, and then nothing is done, or things get done slowly, which is fine, like that's family. So it definitely gets messy, and it's hard to maintain for sure. Like if you're asking me how to like run it smoothly, oh no, because we ain't doing it smoothly. We're just doing it.
Interesting. Interesting. So, in terms of the actual business side of it, whenever you guys take on projects together, how does that work?
So we have like the one like general email for Lotus Eaters Club, which is info@Lotus Eaters Club. And so people, they find our work or they see something online or they stumble on a mural, they'll message us through that email and then kind of vet it for who would one, who's available for the job out of the crew, and two, like who's a fit for the style that the client is specifically asking for. Because a lot of times the client will hit us up like, hey, we saw this piece that you did. And for example, if it was a piece that Mario did, it's like, okay, well, obviously he's gonna aesthetically match what you're looking for because you're specifically bringing up this mural, Um, and then it would go the other way, like if they found a different mural that looked like more pattern based or more portrait based or whatever they're looking for. Just talk to the crew, see who's available and interested. If they're not interested, then sorry, can't take this job. But if someone in the crew is interested, you just let them carry on the conversation from there,
Mm.
you know? And then once they do take a job, it's just like, all right, well, we got hands. Who's available these dates? And we just go help each other paint. And we just like hire each other.
Interesting. So it's not like or I guess it would trying to think of how to ask the question because it seems more like okay, incoming project, who wants it or who's the best for it, and then from there they just kind of take the steering wheel and everybody else kind of jumps in the back.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the times. There's also like a lot of times where I end up handling the conversation. I end up being the middleman between the client and then one of the dudes from the crew. So I'll handle like the contract, give them a quote, communicate with the crew. We're like, are you happy with this number? Cool. Let's send them the number, see if they accept, and get as much information as we can, like what dates. Is it inside? Is it outside? Is there a toilet? Is there a sink? You're like, can we use spray paint inside? No, then I need a sink to wash brushes. Like all that shit and figure out like how much time it's gonna take to do it. And we've done so many murals now at this point, we have an idea of how long something's gonna take when we see the size of the wall. But of course, it just depends on like what kind of design they're looking for.
Yeah. Hmm. So what about the ones whenever you guys are all painting together? Is it more so like is it one person's idea to just hey let's just all jump in on this, or is it like everybody's available, or like how do those
It's
kind of
Yeah, it's different every time. Sometimes the depends on how flexible the client is too. You know what I mean? Like if they're pretty open to like a really crazy design, it's like, all right, cool. Like maybe I'll design this part of the design, hand it off to someone, they add to it, get to a point where the design is done and had enough of that back and forth between the client where they're happy with it, and then everybody paints. Um, everyone who's available paints. And also it depends on the budget, like obviously I would love to have everyone paint every time. But sometimes, depending on the client, especially if they're a smaller client, maybe their budget's pretty small and like there's not enough to spread around. But sometimes we're just like, fuck it. Like I've done jobs with the crew where like I didn't even pay myself. I just went to go paint. Because there's times where there's not a big enough budget, but we still go to help each other if we're available.
interest?
And that gets harder to do sometimes because everybody's got bills to pay. Like, we just have that understanding though. Like if you're able, cool. If you're not, still cool.
Yeah. So interesting. Like, and I'm definitely like I'm taking mental notes and actual notes too in this book just to like to kind of use going forward. because
Yeah.
that community that you guys have is really beautiful to watch from the outside, and it's cool to see you guys just grow individually and grow as a family and as a crew too.
I mean, we were definitely lucky to have already been friends, at least some of us before we kind of got together. That helped. And I think that was like kind of like the base structure was like we were already tight.
So for people who are by themselves, say I met somebody at a tea shop probably last week, and they drew really well, but they didn't know anybody else that drew, and I recommended them to some of the people in the city. Like I told them about like high contrast on Tuesdays and stuff like that. But for
Yeah.
people who aren't in Atlanta and they're just like by themselves and they want something like that to be able to start that kind of community or just some like a circle, a group, of family. Um, what kind of
Yeah.
advice would you give those types of people?
I guess if you like, if you don't live close to activities like that, because I'm very much a person that rather do something in person. Like I don't do a lot of online art community type stuff. I mean, those exist, of course, but like obviously for most of us, we're trying to get outside of just sitting at home and being around physically other people. So if you don't live close to it, you either got to make the trek or try to start your own thing wherever you're at and start small. Like, hey, um, see if you could talk to like a coffee shop, put some flyers up, and be like, hey, we're gonna do an art night on Tuesday. I'm gonna post up here, like come through, bring your sketchbook and some pencils and whatever, and just kind of start small that way. Because the thing is if you live in an area that doesn't have that kind of stuff, you either got to find the people that are gonna start it or you got to start it. Just keep it casual and small. Then eventually it'll grow into something.
Yeah, gotta throw time at it, as
Yeah,
Coach Baker
that's
would
all it
say.
is. Not that it's easy to do that, but that's really what it is. It's just putting in the time, finding a way to make the time.
Having people come through one by one. Um, I think that's something that not a lot of people are willing to do is sit there and let something build over time. Like having like they put the seed in the ground, they water it once, and they're like, "Where's my fruit?" It's not
Yeah,
there
yeah.
yet.
It's tough because like I'm not that person either. Like I haven't like put together like events or anything. Like I've been fortunate I was able to build like a family, but that's different. Putting on like events or building like a type of space that brings in people who are not part of your immediate circle and have them come and do art stuff. Like props to people that do that because it's definitely a lot of work. It is a lot of work just me trying to manage my own family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I know you saw my email. Like just reply to I see you all the time. Reply to the email.
Please.
Like shit like that happens all the time.
Going back to talking about some of the murals that you guys have done, I think one of the most important and notable, one of the most recognizable ones that people would know that you've done is the one off of 7585 for Pandora.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely would say that's one of the more important ones that I've done because that was so the client was Pandora Radio and they were doing something for PI Heritage Month, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. They keep changing that abbreviation. I'm part of that community and I don't even remember it because they keep changing that shit. But it was for celebrating like the Asian community and Pacific Islander community for the month of May, and so I was stoked to get that one for sure. It was also probably my tallest wall in Atlanta that I've done, and the most fun to do. Um, Shout out to Ara for helping me paint that. We did that one in 5 days, and
It's
it was
crazy.
like we got an 80-foot boom lift through this huge electrical box, kind of blocking the lift, so I couldn't get quite close enough to get the lift high enough to hit the top of the building. So like I would have gone a little bit higher if I could, but I just physically couldn't because of that electrical. But yeah, man, I tried to fit in multiple Asian cultural like clothing references in that character. It's impossible to represent everyone, but I just wanted to make sure that that character was supposed to represent multiple cultures from the community. Um,
What are some of the
and I was
ones that you put in that people could see?
Well, I definitely did the Khmer crown and the Vietnamese ao dai, which is the dress, because that's what I am. And I wanted my kids, because when I finished it, I brought my daughters out and I was like, hey, that's you. I told Matilda, like, that's you on the wall. And she was so stoked about that. And she was like 3 or something at the time.
Mm.
But she was super excited that like her dad painted this character that was supposed to be her on this building. But like, one thing I love about like other communities, like you see a lot of murals and portraits of like black faces and Hispanic, Latino faces and white people for sure. So like I was stoked to like get some Asian faces done so my kids can see that shit.
Yeah.
Especially being in the South, like not that normal. People don't see it as that normal for like Asian people to be down here, but like obviously we are. Um, but yeah, so that one was definitely the most important one and the most fun, just because being that high is actually pretty fun.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
curious, like I'm asking this on behalf of myself and of the people who have never done it before, but like when they asked you to paint this mural and it's like several stories tall, it's like you see the building, you're like, what? Like how
Oh yeah, I was like, how the fuck am I gonna read this for sure, for sure.
like
And I
how
hate dealing with projectors, so we doodle gridded it. And then there was that moment, like I had to tell the building owners, I was like, hey, this first day, you're gonna be pissed at me because you're not gonna know what the hell all this bullshit is. The doodle grid symbols.
yeah,
I had to tell them, I was like, it's gonna look whack for like a day.
yeah.
But we got it up and I was laying in the sketch and they were like, all right, cool.
Like,
But I was worried about
yeah, some people like I've been in the middle of doing a doodle grid. For those that don't know, a doodle grid is a way of transferring an image from your sketch to the wall, and it's just by way of making a bunch of characters or just doodles on this wall, and you're laying out a grid for yourself instead of doing like horizontal and vertical lines, and
yeah.
using the software.
Same concept as a grid, like a literal grid, but just way faster because you're not measuring squares.
Yep. And then you're able to lay your image over the top of a picture of these doodles, and then you're able to kind of pinpoint where certain parts of the wall or of the design is on the wall based on where the doodles are. And it is an amazing, I don't know who started it, but they deserve a cut out of everybody's wall because the way
For
that is
real.
coming clutch. I mean, you can do it anytime, anywhere, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. As long as you can take a picture of the wall, you can do a doodle grid. But I've been in the middle of doing a doodle grid, and like people will think that's the mural, and they're like, "Oh, it looks great." Like, really? You
Yeah,
sure?
yeah. Like I know you lying.
Right.
I know you lying.
Yeah. Or they'll come out and be like, "I thought you were gonna do this other thing." I'm like, "I am. Just let me cook for a second, please."
It was fun to do it that big too, and just being up high. Like I don't know, I like being in the lift. It's kind
Mhm.
of fun for me, and
Oh,
like because it wasn't, we couldn't reach high enough. Like me and Ara were like standing on the basket just to get extra like 5 feet. But we had harnesses and stuff, so like
oh, okay.
we
So
were
you're
locked in. We
good.
were straight.
Man, it's fine when the lift is like 10, 15 feet, but when you're up there like eight, when you go past like 30 or 40 feet, I can't lift my leg up out of no extra. If the lift can't make it, I can't make
Yeah, but
it.
you're talking up so short. It's basically like I didn't even leave the basket. Clearly. But
So like,
when you're that high, the basket like it rocks.
yeah.
Like it rocks a lot, but you don't realize how much it rocks until you get down. Because when you're up there, you're feeling fine. And I remember the first time I got in a lift that was higher than 50 feet, and I came down and I got sea legs.
Oh yeah.
Where you kind of feel like you're still doing this shit. And
Mhm.
I fell asleep. Like it was, I felt I was so like I rocked myself to sleep just from having sea legs from the basket. It was so stupid, but I passed out in my truck.
That is crazy. Yeah, I did a mural one time with George in I think off of Peachtree. We did a big mural for Marta, and we had to go up about 60, 70 feet, I think, and
Is
got
that
the
the one
same
with
thing.
like the kind of like drip shapes that flow along? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That one's dope.
So we were way up and just being up there basically all day. We would go down like once to get food, but uh,
Yeah.
driving home, it felt like I was driving over little hills. Like I was just going like this,
Yeah,
just on the way
yeah,
home.
yeah.
And I was like, this is trippy, man. I don't know how people just be up there like every day for certain jobs too. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure they had that problem too their first time.
yeah.
Because now it's like whatever, but my first couple of times, like, yeah, I was going up hills too for sure.
So like, how does the paint transfer at that scale? Like, it's one thing for a normal, for like most walls that we get commissioned, you can kind of get a sense for like, okay, I might need like 5 cans or 6 cans or whatever. But when you're
Oh,
looking at that scale, I mean, how
it
are you
it's hard, and
judging?
that's definitely overbuy it every time because you rather have too much than run out mid mural because that's um. So what I learned was like I just empty out a can and like I like comfortably covered like 25 square feet, right? You can go a little bit more than that unless it's yellow because yellow fucking sucks. But like
Yeah.
most colors will cover 25 square feet comfortably. So you know you bring your image into Photoshop or whatever you're using, and I'll make a little box that's 25 square feet that will represent 25 square feet, and duplicate that box all over my design per color to estimate how many cans I need. It's tedious as fuck, but that's the only way I've been able to like kind of guess how much paint to get. It's
So
easier if you get bucket paint because it'll straight tell you on the can there's like 400 square feet for like a gallon or something like
that's just
that.
so far. You guys use all spray or was it brush paint too?
For the for that Asian American mural,
Yeah.
I think some of the shapes that were behind her, we used bucket paints, like just buffed in like these huge swatches of color. But the character herself was all cans.
Mhm.
And I think like one thing that people don't realize, like the bigger the wall is, the easier it is to do a mural because all your details are now like huge, right? You know, when you try to do like little details on a painting, it takes forever.
Yeah.
If I paint like a 12 by 18-inch canvas, it takes me like a week. But we did that
Yeah.
wall in 5 days, you know, like it's just easier because you're spending like so much time filling in like one color because it's huge.
That's
So not a
interesting
lot of
too.
thought going into it. You know what I mean? Like I'm filling in blue for 50 feet.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
And that's what I think a lot of people misunderstand that too, because they think that a wall that's huge is something that's like way harder. Like, oh, I can only do this little canvas, could never do.
Right.
But you can probably do that, like,
Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying it's quicker because it's huge, but I feel like it's easy because your little details now become huge details. So
yeah,
you're like worrying about it less. And plus, most of the times people are looking at your piece from a distance. So you don't have to be too tight if you don't want to be.
yeah, yeah. And then learning that balance between what's going to what people are gonna notice versus like what you want to fix. Like you kind of just fix to where, okay, I can sleep tonight. Like you don't want to have anything
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
bugging you, but at the
I
same
definitely
time,
had to like learn how to like do like one big sweep of the piece and then focus on fixing the things that really piss you off. Because if you don't notice it, then someone else probably ain't gonna notice it. Because you're gonna notice like mistakes way quicker than someone else is, if they do at all. You
right?
know, so sometimes you're like up close trying to fix something, and you're just wasting time because once you step back, you didn't even see that shit that you just did because it was so small
Man.
from a distance.
Yeah, and you'll be sitting there and you're working in tiny details. Man, what
Right,
is like I can't get
and you
this,
don't even
whatever.
see it.
And you go back and you're like, what was I doing for the last
And if you
15?
got the time and the paint to do it, then like by all means, like do it. But there's a lot of times where like I'm sure you have the same issues where you're like, I'm trying to work as quickly and efficiently as possible because that's what the money calls for, right? Like I'll feel much happier about whatever budget I get for a project if I finish it in a shorter amount of time, right? Because then it feels like I'm getting paid more per day that way.
Oh, like
If
from
I
an hourly perspective kind of thing.
or day rate perspective, you know what I mean? Like if you like you get like a like a 10K mural or something, and you finish that shit in one day, like you managed to finish it in one day, like hell yeah, I made 10K in a day.
Yeah, easy.
I try to think about it that way. It makes me work faster. It's like, well, shit, it'll take a week.
You
This
know,
ain't as much money, even though it's the same money.
that's another thing that I'm curious about. I'm like, I like to think I'm pretty fast with murals, but I'll look up and
Yeah,
like you're done. Like it's already over. And I'm like, is there I feel like there's something there that I'm not seeing, or like there's is there like a focus you kind of have, or is it like I remember you telling me that you stick with one color and you kind of run that till it's done because like using other colors can kind of just get you all confused, like you start
I
missing
do
on
that
stuff.
if I'm working on a mural with the crew. Because when you got that many people kind of like running back and forth and around and under each other, it's easy to be like, all right, you working with pink, I work with blue. And we just go from end to end. Each person focuses on that one color. Kind of efficient that way. But if I'm painting like just myself or just one other person, then just free for all, whatever I'm feeling, uh, whatever feels like more appeal. But with a group of people, yeah, it's kind of helpful to just focus on one color at a time.
Is there any type of tricks that you use to help yourself do things quicker or more efficiently, or just like to get it right the first try every time, to kind of up your speed in those moments?
I don't know about tricks, but there's just things you kind of learn along the way. Like I always bitch about the color yellow with people. So like if there's ever like yellow in your design, um, make sure you lay down like white first. You know what I mean? Because if you have your doodle there, your doodle grid there, and you got to do yellow over that piece of doodle, you're gonna see that doodle, and you're gonna do 10 layers of yellow, wasting yellow, and you're still gonna see that doodle under it. So I try to remind people to like lay down the white, whatever's yellow in your design, fill it with white first, and then hit it with the yellow. I don't know if that's necessarily a trick, but it's definitely something I learned
Hmm.
in walls. I was like, it doesn't matter what kind of paint, yellow is just so translucent.
It's rough. I just painted a mural this past week and had yellow in it, and I had to paint black or no navy blue over it, and I was like, I can't mess this up because if I have to hit that yellow over the navy
Yeah,
blue,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
cry.
But definitely hit the yellows first if you can, because it's easier to cut over that with any color, really. Mashed potato or whatever, that's pretty opaque, but that's also like more on the ivory side of yellow,
Yeah,
that true yellow.
like that pastel kind of feel. It's
Yeah,
definitely more white in it
anything
too.
like closer to white probably has a lot of white paint in it, so it covers pretty well. But anything that's like super see through. We did this mural one time at a cheese place. So the mural was full of yellow because we were painting cheese. That shit was a fucking
Oh
It
my
was fun
god.
because we were drawing stupid shit, but it was so much yellow. That was probably when I learned that. I was like, I gotta lay down.
Was that when you had the what? It sounded like you had the crew with you that time.
Yeah, yeah. That was like me, Pam, Raishu, Mario, Do It, Helen Choi, um, Chris Courtney. Most of us were there. But man, that cheese wall
It's one of those ones. One
was
of
just
those
one of those ones. Like, ever again, I'm never painting at a fucking cheese place ever again.
ones. What color is y'all's cheese? I need to make sure.
Right, right.
I painted like a white cheese spot.
Like, blue cheese, let me get some. Can I paint the cheese blue? Like, let's do that.
Right.
But yellow? Get the fuck out of here.
Can you tell everybody about the Cambodian dice game?
All right. Damn, I wish I. Hold on. I have it over here. I don't have the board on me right now. Probably spilled like a bunch of booze on it and it just gets the paper like board, so it just falls apart. But there's these dice. Hold on.
Okay, we're
I'm trying to.
I
Okay.
see.
There's a shrimp. There's a a rooster, a gourd. What is that? A deer.
Deer.
All right, yeah. So there's a bunch of animals and a gourd, and you get three dice. So there's three of them, and then you got this board that has the same pictures on the board, and you roll the dice, and you try to bet like, all right, I bet that the dice is gonna land on like two roosters and one shrimp or some shit like that.
Mhm.
And you're supposed to play it with money, but we always played it for shots. So like if I bet two shrimps and one chicken, and like it landed on two shrimps and one chicken, I'm taking three shots.
Woo.
So like most people would want to lose, but we were like betting on how much we wanted to drink, basically. So you try to guess correctly, and we just turned it into a drinking game. But like if you're Southeast Asian, like you've probably seen this shit. But we gotta play.
Yeah.
We gotta play. You
So,
just keep playing till you can't stand up no more, pretty much.
and then you just throwing them on the ground.
So I'm on the ground. I've been taking shots this whole time we've been talking too.
Oh man. That's
For sure.
and I'm like, how are you able to just you're able to just run like that? I'll see you like at festivals. You're able to like just drink and just keep going and like be up on the ladder and be like, I mean, actually killing it. And I don't understand. Like, I would be out. I'd be like sleep or just like distracted or just I wouldn't know how
I
to
mean,
make.
yeah, but to be fair, you probably also seen me a couple times where I was not climbing no damn ladders and I was sitting on the pier for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
It was
but
sometimes too much is too much.
yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's just I like to stay loose. I can't like if I'm doing something as fun as painting a mural, like I don't want to be uptight about shit. I want the boombox going and I want shots. Like I just want to be having a good time. Because especially like Forward Warrior, Burning Bridges, like where everything is on one street. I love it. It's like family barbecue, yeah. Or like a family get together, like, oh, I hadn't seen this dude since last year. Or I hadn't seen him in 6 months. And plus we got food and we got drinks and we got music. Like, why wouldn't I be drinking? Come on. What why wouldn't I be like, what are you doing if you're not drinking the thing?
It just makes sense. It's just
Sit at
it's
home
a
doing
perfect
taxes.
pairing. I think that's what I like about the kind of culture we have here in Atlanta in our paint scene because it is like that a lot of times, especially for the festivals where we're all on the same street. Like we really treat each other like it's like a family reunion. It feels like that, you know.
100%. 100%. Like, cause I'm sure you see it too, where like you've probably like met an artist from like out of town. And they're like, damn, y'all like get down like this, like we're in LA or New York or whatever. Like it's all competition.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody sharing a drink.
Mm-mm, they're trying to outcool each other and trying
Yeah.
get one over on the other person. And it's like we're all on the same street, man. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, there's no gatekeeping. I mean, I'm sure there's people that do it, but but in general, this is how I do this. This is how I do that. How much this is. Take a shot.
Yeah, that is the
Good to go.
experience.
Yeah.
That is the
You gotta stay
experience.
first. And you do that line, like, come on.
How does that like? How do you think that is, or like, why do you think that is for Atlanta, uh, or why do you think that is for the other places?
I don't know, man. I think it really is just a southern thing. Because I've lived up there and I've lived down here. And like, they call it Southern hospitality for a reason. Like there's definitely just something about people like moving a little slower, talking a little slower, and just taking their time and like enjoying their time,
Mhm.
you know? People get like I feel like the people that are competitive here don't end up staying here. They move. They're built different and they can't like stick with this shit. Or maybe I've just been lucky and you've just been lucky and we're meeting the right people. But as far as my experiences, I've been down here, like it's always been like open arms.
Yeah,
Let's do this.
yeah. I'm surprised sometimes because it'll be people that like it might be their first time ever meeting you, and like they'll take you for a tour of the studio. I remember meeting the artist Jeremy Brown, dude that does like the resin and the neon lights.
Yeah.
And I had a school project where I needed to learn how to mix epoxy resin for. And I just remember he was somebody that I saw kill it. And I just sent him a message randomly on Insta.
Yeah,
He
it
was like,
just gladly showed you how to do it, probably.
yeah, he was like, come by the
Yeah,
studio tomorrow in the morning and I'll show you. And like gave me a whole demo. And I was like, you didn't even know me. Like 24 hours ago, you did not know I existed. And
right, right.
that's amazing to
I
me.
love that. I love that. That's like one of the things that kept me down here. Because when I moved down here, I thought I was just gonna be like, because I came down here for school or
Mhm.
continue school. I was like, all right, get my degree and like either go back to DC or go up to New York or something. Because at the time, I had my eyes on New York, because it was like a little bit closer to home, and I don't know, I was just more familiar with the scene at the time. But then when I came down here to finish school, I was like, I'm staying. This place is dope. And people don't get it unless they've been down here for a minute. And plus, like, this is where like my family story began, was here in Atlanta. So like I got roots here and it just feels like home.
Mhm. So, okay, I may not have understood you correctly. You say you came down here for school?
Yeah.
That- And but
After
you
having lived up in Virginia for a little bit.
okay.
But I was born down
So you were born here, moved up there early, and then you came
here.
down here for school.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of, I would like to know a little bit more about how you, just how your daily life was. You know, if we could see that version of you when you were up north, what was life like, and how was it different from living down here?
Well, even when I was so like I did my undergrad up in DC, studied animation because I wanted to get into cartoons.
Hmm.
So like a lot of team projects and shit. So you build like some good relationships with like your peers. But if you would meet like other artists in the city, like super competitive, you know? And like I don't know, just like everyone had a fucking attitude. Now it's different. I left DC because the scene sucked at the time. Now it's different. Like artists from DC that are super cool. I don't know. It just wasn't for me just because like I like the team element of things. That's like one thing I probably picked up from studying animation because you can't do that shit by yourself. It requires a team to make a cartoon. So I made some really good friendships there, and like a couple of guys that I went to school with in DC actually live here in Atlanta too. Everyone just ended up coming down here. But I think that was one of the main things up there is like there's not a lot of collaboration going, or at the time. Now it's all good. That was why I left.
What kind of stuff were you? What kind of stuff were you inspired by? What kind of things were you doing? What were you
Um,
learning
de-
from? Were you
Definitely like stickers, graffiti, and Saturday morning cartoons. Like and comic books for sure. But I feel like everybody says that. But I'm from the 80s and 90s, and we probably had better shit.
what's better? What's better from back then? That's
Oh man, like Ren and Stimpy, Tom and Jerry, we had like the craziest cartoons. I try to put those cartoons up for my kids now. Holy shit. If they're smoking cigars, shooting each other with guns, man, when I was a kid, that was hilarious. But now I'm like, oh shit. Different time, man. Our cartoons were weird.
yeah, yeah,
Tom and Jerry, though, cartoon ever, by the way.
yeah. Some of these cartoons they've aged differently. You know, they're like, man, I
Really?
don't know how
Yeah.
they were showing this to kids back.
I don't know. But I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Like that stuff was so good. Like the early 90s, like animation scene was so good.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
The music was
SpongeBob.
better.
You said the music.
Yeah. Like late 80s, early 90s, like hip hop, that shit was better. Our
Mm.
cartoons were better. Our candy was better. Our cereal was better.
What
You
was
seen Cookie Crisp now? Cookie Crisp used to be actual little fucking cookies. Now I don't know what it is. Some puff colored like a cookie. It's weird.
Yeah, it is like a little puff, and it's got little cookie, little chocolate crumbs on it. That's the chocolate chips.
I mean, not even. It's like painted like chocolate chips. Painted that shit to look like a cookie. Back then, there used to be a cookie, like an actual cookie. A bunch
Literally.
of them.
I know that you played a lot of games too or at least that's what you speak about too, like how important games were to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I do feature a lot of game stuff in my artwork. My mom worked at Salvation Army my whole life. Like even before I was born, she just like when she came to America, she found that job, worked at thrift stores. So I was like lucky in that I would end up with most of all the consoles that came out. I never got them new and I never got them right away. But eventually I got all the consoles, right? She would find them at the thrift store and bring them home. So I just played a lot of fucking games. Um,
What are some of the ones that were like pretty influential? Like as an adult now, what are some of the ones when you look back, you're like, that was one of the ones. Like I
Street
wouldn't
Fighter
be
for
the
sure. Street Fighter will forever be like one of my favorite games. But Streets of Rage 2, did you play Streets of Rage 4?
I haven't no. I haven't seen I haven't played it.
Get that, even if you don't play it, buy that shit and just look at the artwork because the artwork in Streets of Rage 4 is so good. The art and the animation. But yeah, that was one of my favorites because it was like the game I played with my brother the most. It was a two-player game, co-op, and we just played the shit out of that. And I was like a Sega kid. I don't know if you like, so at the time there was like lots of different types of like advertisement on TV between Nintendo and Sega. And Sega's advertisements were always like, we get the bloody games. So like Mortal Kombat on Genesis had blood, but on Super Nintendo there was no blood. So if you had that one, you were a fucking chump. But if you had the Sega one, that was the
Yeah.
dope one. Yeah, yeah, that was the real Mortal Kombat. Like if I'm ripping a dude's head off, it's gotta be blood in that scene.
Right. You don't see it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
I mean I was um a lot of my I think games that I played as a kid, you probably played maybe as like a teenager or something. I think my first couple of games was on like the Dreamcast. I know my dad, he got me a
My
Dreamcast, and
favorite console right here is Dreamcast.
it was fire for what it was. I can barely remember it just because I was like literally a like a child, like a baby.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
would play a lot of played a lot of Sonic Adventure. And I'm seeing now even in the art style and like the way that that they depicted him, I see a lot of those influences like in my art today, just even in the way that like the kind of energy and like the
Yeah, you got a
posing.
lot of video game references in your art too, and I love that about your stuff.
Yeah, I
Like
would.
even you have a lot of like RPG references too.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I because I played a lot
classicism.
of Pokemon growing up, a lot of
Yeah.
Pokemon. Because I
Who's your
really
favorite Pokemon?
Krogan for sure. Krogan. I like Mewtwo.
Well, I took it to work.
What'd you say?
I had this big Cubone I was gonna show it to you, but I forgot it's on my desk at the office.
Oh, okay. I gotta
And I don't even
see.
think he's that tough. He just looked cool because he had that skull head.
Yeah, whenever especially when he comes out of the skull head, it's like, what is this? What are you?
Like I like characters that are kind of stupid. You know what I mean? Like his power is he throws a bone at you. Like it's it's so dumb, but I was like, whatever. He's a badass.
Yeah, yeah. I played a lot of that. I naturally went towards Yu-Gi-Oh at first, but my mom she like stiff armed that whole situation because she thought that the Yu-Gi-Oh creatures were like demons, and she was like, nah, we're not having that in this house. So you get to play with
I mean, they were crazier looking than the Pokemon.
for sure. They had like a lot of dragons, a lot of like there were creatures that looked like demons and stuff, so I could see where she felt that way. But
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
because of that where I went to Pokemon instead. But I played a lot of it. Pokemon, Kirby, uh, and
I mean,
then
Pokemon's an RPG game
yep,
with just best animal characters.
yeah,
I didn't play a lot of Pokemon, but I've always dug it because I liked the character design.
yeah. They know how to make stuff fun to draw. Like,
Yeah,
and I guess that's the whole game of character design too. But I'm wanting to try and figure out how to make stuff actually fun to draw. Like I have these characters that I was working on. It's like a skater and a skateboarder,
yeah.
Thunder and Fire, and I've been like playing around with them, but I'm trying to figure out how to make them actually like fun. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference between cool and fun.
You mean like design wise or their story?
Design wise, more so design wise, like in terms of just when you look at a character and they have like something, you know, when like you look at a Pokemon and you're like, man, that's really cool. That's like a fun shape, or even it's
Yeah,
recognizable,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
even as like a
Are
silhouette.
they humans
Yeah,
or are they?
little
Right.
kids.
Maybe maybe they can still be humans, but inspired by some kind of either an animal or some other thing. You know what I mean? Like if you did a character like with like a long nose and buck teeth, like it like kind of remind you of a rat. Maybe some
Yeah,
weird shit like that. Like they can still be human. Think of some weird way to like make them look stupid
yeah.
or cool.
I've seen you like do that too for certain, even like for yourself. Like you'll make yourself into like a rat or into like.
I love doing. Well, yeah. So I was born in the year of the rat, which is why I draw rats all the time,
Oh,
and I
okay.
love it because everybody's like the shittiest punk rock animal. Like I love that I'm a rat. You know what I mean? Like yeah, dragon, that's cool, but it's like also kind of boring to me. I like the weird stuff.
Man, always wanted to. I remember whenever I found out there was a dragon year, I was like, dang, I wanted to be a dragon. Like that would have been so cool.
When I was younger, yeah, my brother was born in the year of the tiger, and I was like, he's a tiger. We got that rat.
It's way
You
cool.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the older I got, especially when I like when I was in high school, I got really into punk rock, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck it, it's gonna be a rat, dirty rat, for life.
That's cool. That's what's up.
Yeah, just embrace that shit, man, because everything else that everyone likes just becomes boring.
Mm.
So I like the weird shit. I mean,
Yeah. I do like doing that as well. Like kind of finding things that are traditionally like not as cool.
a little off. Yeah, yeah,
And then finding a way to make it cool. Like and
yeah.
um I remember doing a zine uh for Pokemon. Like a bunch of artists got together and did a page representing a gym leader. And I remember I got like the lamest gym leader because I was late. Like I was late to the whole thing. So they were like, well, the only ones left are like this one and this one. And they were both like terrible. I was like, how am I
I'm
supposed
gonna
to
tell
make
you
this look cool?
something, and it's gonna be a lie. I've never seen you be late. I've
Really?
never seen you be late.
Oh man.
That's a fucking lie though, because you're late all the fucking time.
Yeah, I was like, man, there's people that would fight you on that. They're like, man, who are you talking about? But yeah.
No, I just remember like one time you showed up late to the drinking doodle.
Oh yeah.
It was a long time ago, and you were like one of the last ones to finish. Remember? And everybody started like,
Yeah. I was like,
yeah,
man. And I was locked in too. I was like, I can't believe I'm the last one to finish like this. It's
I
crazy.
piece of stuff shit though, because you did one of the Bowser's kids or whatever.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't remember his name, the one with the sunglasses.
Roy.
He's my favorite one.
Yeah, yeah. He's
He's,
definitely my
he's a
favorite too.
good boy.
I
Yeah,
I always gravitated towards like the tankier, chunkier
yeah.
characters in games and stuff because it's like they just look like they'd be strong. You know, I need my character to play like the one I'm playing as needs to be strong. Um,
Yeah, so okay, if you were like in an RPG, you'd be what, like a berserker? Like what type
um,
of tank?
I think I'm thinking I naturally go towards tank. I think that's like my if we're going like JRPG, I think probably
Yeah,
like paladin, you know, cuz I like to be like a tanky character. I like to have a lot of defense, but I
because
also
a
need a good
paladin, do they have to be on a horse? That's what I picture. A
no,
paladin horse.
no, they normally have like the shield and like holy
Oh,
powers
really?
and stuff like that.
I
Um
got that.
the horse might I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not
I thought a paladin was a knight on a horse. Is that not? Is not it?
They can
I'm
be.
gonna go. Okay, I guess they can be.
They definitely can be.
Be a knight on a skateboard.
A knight
That'd
on a
be
skateboard parade actually
yeah.
giving me ideas here.
Wait, okay, hold on. So you got these two skater characters. One's a one's like a skateboarder, and one's not. One's like on rollerblades or something.
Yep, on rollerblades.
And what's their deal? Like, what's the story for them?
They don't really have much of a story right now. I just know that
Okay,
their
on the drum.
things, they're like their skates. Like so, girl is the skateboarder, and so the skateboard itself is like enchanted, or maybe it's like a special one. It's like it comes from like some higher power or something that has like powers to it. And it's got like an element. It's got an elemental thing to it. So the skateboarder has like fire,
Did she
obviously.
find it or did she make it?
She found it,
Okay.
and then for the kid, it's a boy, and he's got like rollerblades, and they're like thunder based. And
Yeah.
so like the it's like the whole for the rollerblader, he's like always in motion. He's always moving, like
Yeah,
like
yeah,
electric energizer
yeah.
kind of thing. But then for the fire, I don't know. It just felt like it was just more fitting. I wanted it to be kind of like the spark and the flame. That's like their dynamic, like that kind
I
of thing.
like the.
So that was like the. It's just like a very small lore right now, but I want to add more to it eventually.
I think that, man. I make up characters all the time with no real structure to them. I just come up with a character. I just like creating. That's probably my favorite type of art to do is making characters.
Okay, I have
Even
some
if I
questions for
never.
you then with that, because
Okay.
like when it comes to like I'll even see in some of your murals, you make a character out of anything. You make a character out of like a shoe, out of like a tape,
Yeah, man.
like
Character design is so fun.
so
If
like
for me, that's the most fun thing is making characters out of whatever.
so for somebody who is trying to be a character designer, and it's like they're trying to figure out how do you get to that level where you're making a character out of just, I mean, any old thing, just anything that you see on like the table out of a
I mean,
piece of fruit or
yeah,
anything.
there's a couple things you can do. You can just like take photos of a bunch of shit and draw eyeballs on them. That's like the easiest start,
Mhm.
you know? Because that's what I used to do. I would just like, I used to take, like, I would walk around with a Sharpie, and whenever I saw a mushroom, I would draw a face on that fucking mushroom and then take a picture of it. And then
Really?
I would just, well, like, yeah, I'd be like, yo, check out this. But they got the head, they got the body that goes into the ground. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you can't be like normal and just try to come up with cool characters. You gotta be a little weird.
Mm,
But, like, take photos of shit, draw faces on them. That's like the easiest start. But also, like, sometimes I'll go teach like character design workshops, like at universities and shit. And what I'll do is I'll go tell everybody pull out a piece of paper, draw a shape, and they're like, "All right, bet," and they'll end up drawing a shape that they want to draw on top of. I'm like, "Okay, now hand it to the person next to you." But so now the person next to you has to take this shape and turn it into something. And then there's like basic like design language that you don't have to necessarily follow, but you follow because it's what you think other people will understand, right? So like a tank is always like a big character, right? So if someone drew like a big circle or a big square, like, okay, I'm gonna turn this into a tank type character. But if they drew something more like tall or slender, it's like, okay, well, this is gonna be some lanky dude or like someone quick or whatever. It's just like basic design language shit that you can follow. And you can break that whenever you want to, but that's like the most basic way to get someone to immediately understand what this character is
mhm,
to do obvious shit, but try to make their design interesting, even though their shape is obvious or whatever.
mhm.
But
So
then there's weird characters like in Tekken, they get that fat dude that's fast as shit, you know?
yeah,
That's unexpected.
yeah, I like those types of characters too. There's anytime I see a tank character that's small, I'll be like, "What's your deal? Well, how are you a
Yeah.
tank?" And then
Like
you normally find out how. Huh?
Toph from Avatar.
Yeah,
And
like
I consider her a tank. She's my favorite character from that whole series for sure.
yeah, she's lit, and it's cool because you'll see that, and they're like, "Oh, we got the strongest Earthbender of all time," and then it's like a little girl comes out, and they're like, "What? Whatever," and
Little
then
girl, but also I like whenever there's anime or comics or games with like elemental themes to it, everyone is always like, "Oh, fire!" Fuck your fire, man. It's boring. Everybody chooses fire, right? So like that was one thing I liked about her is like she was probably like most people's last pick element wise.
Mm, yeah.
But like to me, it's badass. Like, what's your power? Oh, I can make a big rock and smash your face with it. Like that's hilarious to me.
Yeah, or even
Like,
just
fire's cool, but how about these rocks?
yeah, like shaking the ground. I mean, they
Yes.
people
You standing
speculate,
on this shit. I can control the shit you standing on. Come on. You're
right?
screwed.
You can throw off all your forms and everything. It's over with.
Yeah. It's over for sure. Make armor with it. And also, if I would okay, so if I was an earthbender, I would use abilities to make a restaurant. And instead of going the metal bending route, I would go lava bending and I would cook my food with lava. I would have like a building that I made with my earth bending power and shit that I cooked with my lava bending.
Oh man,
Because that really would be dope. I wouldn't be no superhero. I would just open a diner.
just be like the strongest one, and it's like
Yeah,
pays one
the
person.
strongest chef ever.
That's like kind of like Iroh. He had a tea shop. He was like one of the best firebenders there was, and he made a tea shop.
Yo, I feel like I'm Uncle Iroh. That's me. That's my guy for
Yep.
fucking sure. If he was an earthbender, that would be me.
Yeah, definitely can see that for
I
sure.
love that voice actor too. Mako. That guy is the
Never
shit.
knew the
He's
never knew the voice actor.
yeah. He was saw him in a bunch of like old kung fu movies and shit.
Hmm,
He was. I'm trying to think of an American movie you might have seen him in. Sidekicks. You seen Sidekicks?
I haven't. It's a lot of
What
movies I
year?
haven't seen. So
Boy, yeah. What year were you born?
97.
Yeah, you were probably 7 years old when that shit came out. I don't forget when it came out, but he was in that. And he was hilarious. Drunk uncle had a Chinese restaurant, but he was this kid's kung fu teacher. He always played funny role. That guy who did the Uncle Iroh voice. But yeah, Mako. I don't know how to say it, but it's Mako.
Okay. I think over the years, like I wanted to be an earthbender at first, but then like whenever I saw the end of Avatar and then even in Korra too, I changed over to airbending. It's just the
Animation.
same.
Look, I mean, the animation of both are really good, but I think my favorite thing in Legend of Korra was like some of those animation sequences were crazy. Like the first time they fight one of those ninja dudes,
Oh
that scene was nuts.
yeah,
So good.
the fight choreography is just unmatched. Like they, and especially because it's based off of like real martial arts. They're not just like opening their
That
hands and
part's so good.
yeah.
Yeah. They brought in those like real martial artists and kind of studied their body movement and shit. And I like that they chose different styles for the different elements. And you probably watched the same shit that I saw, but that guy that was mimicking different styles.
Hmm. Yeah, there's even
They see that shit. Have you seen that? It was like an animated Batman, but it was like kung fu shit.
it sounds familiar, but I don't know it off the top of my
I'll find it and send it to you because that shit was cool.
head. Yeah. That's some of these like fan animations are really cool too. Like I saw one of them uh going after like just trying to recreate all the different bending styles of Avatar. And
Yeah,
it's cool to see how in there the movements themselves like trying to figure out how to word what I want to say.
like portray the element or something.
Yeah, kind of like in the form itself, like
Yeah,
in water, like it is very like uh
fluid. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They brought in that guy to demonstrate different styles, and it was very like you could guess what element he was trying to portray because of his body language. I like shit like that. Um, and you talk to Chris and Courtney, they would geek out about that stuff too because we're like animation kids, so we're
Mhm.
like super into like that type of stuff.
So do you have any dream projects that you would like to work on or any franchises that like you would love to work on? Um
I mean, franchises, I could talk forever about that shit, but like as far as like something I would love to work on, like I would love to make a video game for
Mm.
sure.
What kind of game would you
That
make?
I don't know. It's like a side scroll and beat 'em up. I like side scrollers because I like old school games. Like I'm not super into 2D games. I mean 3D games. Like all the games I buy, 90% of the reason why I buy most of the games that I buy are probably because of the artwork. And I prefer 2D artwork, so most of the games that I have are like just side scrolling 2D games. But oh yeah, man, I would love to make a game.
Mhm.
That'd be dope as shit.
I
And as
started,
far as franchises go, Avatar Studios, they got a studio. That'd be crazy to go work for them.
yeah, doing some, like especially being able to work on. I think they have a movie coming out. Would be that would be insane to be able to do some designs and stuff for them.
I like that they opened up their own studio though, like just Avatar Studios, because that universe or that theme, like they could just keep going.
Yeah, it's. I've been trying to figure that out in terms of like from a design standpoint, how to make things where people can just play all the time, like with different ideals and make stories that have nothing to do with the main character. Like Star Wars does that a lot too, where like you got so many things that have nothing to do with Luke, nothing to do with Obi-Wan, nothing to do with Darth Vader, but you have whole like movies and stories and things are just that are just legitimate and
Yeah,
people
yeah,
can
yeah,
play
and
around.
they just exist in the same world. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's why I think the Avatar Studios are gonna do that basically.
yeah, like
Because there's gonna be some stories, or hopefully there's some stories that aren't even about someone who is the Avatar, and it's just about some bender who's a
yeah,
badass.
yeah, like
Like that.
trying to figure out type of that type of world building is something that is like that's very challenging for me right now. Um,
That's
just
the fun part, though, right? Like the challenge of like, how do I make this work? How do I make it make sense? How do I make it cool? I like that part
yeah, like
of any design project. It's like, how do I make this work?
yeah, trying to it's that problem solving element that is like it's cool, but there is like the frustration that comes with it. At least on my end, like I'm like, man, sometimes I just wish it would work because I want to get on to the next part of whatever phase it's in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That happens, and I feel like whenever I get into those moments, I just take a break and shift to something else.
Mhm.
Like if I can't make the story work, I just like, well, just play with some. If I can't get the design to work, I start working on story for character. Um,
So,
I like I like paying attention to both those things. So like I was talking to um Pierre Oofster the other day about it, where like I don't do a lot of fan art when it comes to franchise shit, but I like doing like fan art of my friends. You know what I mean? Like I like turning people I know into characters. Like that's fun to me. Same type of design language and concepts and themes and stuff, but it's like how do I make this person into a character that's fantastical but also still feels like that character. Like if I designed a character based on Mario, he would have to be sleepy all the fucking time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like you already have a set of rules when you're basing it on someone that
yeah,
you know? And then even if you don't make it look like that person, you can take that and be like, all right, I designed this character, but it was inspired by this person that I actually know.
yeah.
Like that kind of shit.
That's interesting. You because it sounds like you're already seeing the characters in the people. You know, some people kind of they'll separate
Yeah.
like fictional characters and like real people, but those people are the characters themselves, and it's like you're just
Yeah, and you just like exaggerate it or something. Like if I did a Mario character, he would be like a narcoleptic. That's people that fall asleep all the time, right?
I think
Am I
so.
saying that wrong?
It works here.
Whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whatever that is, he'd be that, even though he's not really that. But he does. I've seen that dude like sleep in a parking spot with his head on that
And that little
bumper thing.
stone, that stone bumper thing.
Yeah,
Woo,
that dude asleep anywhere.
that's crazy. But yeah, that is cool. Like being able to make characters off of people. I think that's something that like I've made characters or caricatures rather off of people, but most times the depiction is just of them, but not necessarily of like
Yeah,
some.
you should try to like an exercise of just basing it off elements of that person's personality, but not what they look like. And just take pieces of them from that part of that person and try to create a character that way. Because I feel like I do that more so than the look, even though it's fun to make them look like the same person, but I feel like it's more fun to steal like personality traits from people.
Yeah, because then you kind of answer some of the questions that the design will ask you once you're like in it.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
how much should I, what kind of clothes would this person or this character be
Yeah,
wearing, and then you can kind of answer like, well, they dress like this, or with this kind of personality, they need these kind of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
clothes or
yeah.
whatever.
They dress. Is he tall? Is he short? Is he wide? Is it a guy? Is it a girl? Whatever. Even if you're taking personality traits from like a person that's like male, you can still take that and apply it to a character that's female. And just it's more fun to mix things up that way.
Mm. Yeah, there was another thing that I'm like curious about too, in terms of starting small with a particular story or a particular world. Some of my favorite things, my favorite like franchises or story ever, they start small. Like I think about, um, I mean, even Avatar. It's just like a kid. He the only one that can bend all four elements. He gotta learn them, so he travels the world doing that. Or like
Yeah.
Adventure Time. It's just a kid and a dog, and they live in a tree, and they go on about
Adventure
this
Time
world.
is so good, dude. It's so good.
Right. And then
Okay.
they take it to so many different places, where in Adventure Time you got all kind of stuff going on in Adventure Time. But
Dude, Jake the dog is like the perfect sidekick character ever. Because he can
the
physically take on any shape or form, right? So he could be a tank. He could be, he shrinks real small and shit. Like those Mars episodes where he's like scared of vampires and he's like real small.
yeah,
I love that show, man. That's like top, top. That's
yeah,
like probably number two.
yeah. It's
Like
it's a
no one's gonna beat Tom and Jerry for me, but number two is Adventure Time, probably. It's so good.
Adventure Time is super good. I've seen episodes scattered throughout it all, but I haven't seen like all of them all in one go. Uh,
I don't think I've watched them all in one go either, but I've watched most of it. Um, you should. I think my favorite parts is season seven,
mhm.
whichever one is like Marceline and Ice King centric.
Oh, like
I
their
like
backstory type.
I like their dynamic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's super depressing, but it's really good.
Mhm. Yeah,
Really
they
good.
it's cool that like they have expanded to that level, because I'm sure they didn't start off with that. Whenever they were just
Yeah,
putting
yeah.
out
They
Adventure
just like
Time, it's just
they trap you with being funny and stupid, and then they get heavy and serious. Steven Universe was the same way.
yes,
I don't,
that one.
yeah,
That one's crazy because I'm like, oh, this is
Steven
cool.
Universe got heavy.
You got people
Yeah,
that can like summon
that's
weapons
cool.
out of
I
their
like
arms.
that you like these things. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're both muralists, but we're both into cartoons. I worked in cartoons, but like I love that shit. That was one of the reasons why I moved to Atlanta. I was like, yo, I'm gonna come to school here. Maybe go to Cartoon Network or some shit. Like that was one of the things that was like potential plan, right? Obviously, that didn't work out because Cartoon Network is fuck. But that was a plan at the time.
Yeah. I'm curious as to what you would like, how you would approach doing something like that. If you wanted to make something like an Adventure Time, um, and then learning
It would
when to start.
100% be based off Lotus Eaters Club people. It would be based on people I know for sure. And even Lotus Eaters Club. All right, so like the way I came up with the name Lotus Eaters Club because I was watching some episode of some fucking show where they were interviewing Pharrell,
Mhm.
and he's got that Brand Billionaire Boys Club.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sounds dope, Billionaire Boys Club. So I wanted something with club in the name.
Hmm.
And so I was like, all right. And like, I had this drawing that I did of me and a friend, and we're sitting like in lotus position, where you just sit in across your legs or whatever.
Mhm.
It's called lotus position. And for some reason that led into like Lotus Eaters Club. And then I Googled Lotus Eaters to see if it was a thing. And Lotus Eaters was something from the Odyssey, which is like a really old story. And it was like this island of people where this guy was on this trek, ends up at this island. There's people on this island called the Lotus Eaters, and the Lotus Eaters were basically a bunch of stoners on this island that were high off of this flower, and they would like trap you there. They weren't like bad or anything. They were just like, oh, come on, we're having a good time here. Just fucking live here forever, like they were just fucking hippies. But I didn't know this when I came up with the name Lotus Eaters. I just Googled it to see if someone was using the name, and it ended up being like, oh, it's a group of stoners. We're a group of stoners. It's fucking perfect. We're just gonna run with it. We're just gonna run with this name. And it was kind of cool to have this like accidental coincidence of us versus these characters from some mythology story who personality wise are very similar to us because we're just trying to have a good time and
Yeah.
fucking smoke and drink whatever and just like be happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like obviously we're dealing with real life shit, but ideally we're just smoking and drinking and painting and having a good time.
Yeah.
Like what do you want from other than like, I don't know, slice of pizza?
Yeah.
Are you a pineapple and pizza person?
I can't be. I'm allergic to pineapples, so I can't. I'm like
Oh well then
anti by
yeah.
default. Are
You're
you?
you're you're on my team. You're on my team.
I heard that you were like strongly anti pineapple on pizza. Why is
I
that?
love sweet and savory, but not that one.
What's
I
wrong with
feel
that?
like there's certain dishes, like I'm all for like doing whatever with food, and I say that, and which is makes me a hypocrite for what I'm about to say. But you know what I mean? Like there's certain dishes where you like you just don't fuck with it that much. Like if I get a Philly cheesesteak and you offer me some ketchup, like get the fuck out of here. Where are you from? Like I don't want ketchup on my Philly. It's not supposed to be there.
Yeah,
Or and pizza is one of those things. Like I don't want pineapple.
just
But
like
if you love that, I wouldn't judge. Well, I might judge you a little bit, but I'll still be your friend.
just like we
I'll
just
still
not
be your
eating
friend.
pizza together.
Yeah, right. You
Interesting.
can do your shit over there.
Have you ever tried it, or it was just like just the idea was too much?
The idea was too much. The idea was too much. I don't think I've ever even fucking tried it.
Mm. Does anybody else in your family mess with it, or is it like
Not well, not in my blood related family, but I'm pretty sure there's some Lotus Seeders people that fuck with it.
mm,
But that's all right. We're still family. Still family.
yeah, that's
Because
cool.
if everything was just hunky dory straight up, it would be boring, right? We
Yeah,
gotta disagree on some shit.
you gotta
We
have
gotta
that.
disagree.
That's how the bonds get formed actually through the
Yeah.
friction.
And I love pineapple, just not on my pizza.
Put it on the side.
Put it on the side. I'll bite this and then I'll bite that, but I ain't buying it together.
That's cool. I did want to ask you too. I'm gonna change up the topic just a little bit, but it was something that I was curious
Yeah.
about. With in regards to being a parent. I remember you say that like you're like a happy dad too. Like you are very
Dude,
excited and like happy to have the kids, and like a lot of people that'll have
yeah.
them, they'll look at me and be like, don't have kids. Like, and it's not to say that they hate
Yeah,
the
that,
kids,
that
but
pisses me off, man. Even before I had kids, that would bother me. Cause I'm like, yo, like, if you're gonna be that way about it, like, why the fuck did you have kids?
yeah.
So for me, like, if like people who know me for a long time, that like, I told them I was like, I don't want kids. I like kids, but there was a long time where I didn't want kids, and it was mostly because like I'm just a workaholic personality. Like I just work a lot,
Mhm.
and I felt like I would be a shitty dad. I just felt like I would be like, just never home, always busy, always working, whatever. Um, and then like when like the second I was ready to have kids, I was because my wife had been talking to me about it. And I remember waking up one day, I was like, all right, I'm ready. Let's fucking do this. I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. I don't know who I was talking to, but I was talking to someone.
Mm.
And I was like, I'm ready. And then that day I found out my wife was pregnant. And then as soon as as soon as Matilda was born and I met her, I was like, man, I should have done this sooner. Like I was immediately like, I didn't regret having a kid. I regretted not doing it sooner. She was so cool, man. I was like, "Oh, I should have done this sooner. Because I told myself, I was like, if I have kids, I'm gonna wait till I'm. And I waited till I was 30. But now I wish I did it when I was like fucking 18 or some shit.
Really?
Because my kids are hilarious, dude. They're hilarious. All the shit that they do that pisses my wife off cracks me the fuck up. It's so funny. They draw on everything. They draw on the fucking wall. Like I can't get mad. I do that for a living. You know what I mean? Like I can literally draw and paint on the wall for a living. Like I can't get mad at my kid for painting on the wall. And like every time I do a mural, I like to bring them out. Uh, if it's like a small wall, I'll bring Matilda out and let her like buff part of the wall just so she like gets to like get some paint on the wall.
Yeah.
Like I love it. But I think it's different for people like me and other artists where like we're already kind of kids forever at heart because we're creative people.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I get along with my kids so much because like the only difference between me and my two kids is that I'm old as shit, but we like the same stuff. We like toys. I still bought half the toys in this house are mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not even like, oh, it's not even all their toys. I can't say no to her when I got Astro Boy over here. Like, look at this shit. I got this wall full of toys. Those are my toys. Not even their toys. Like I can't say when my daughter asks for a toy, I'm like, fuck yeah, what toy do you want? Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Hmm. So then, like, what do you think is going on there? What do you think that parents that are having those struggles should be doing? What do you think they're doing wrong in that?
I think they need to find their inner child again, is what it is. You know what I mean? They forgot what it's like. So everything that your kid does pisses them off. Uh, doesn't piss me off because I'm still doing half the shit that they crack me up. You know what I mean? So funny. They're funny. They make me laugh every day. But maybe I'm just lucky. I don't know. Because I've also met some kids where I'm just like,
Get your son up,
my
man.
kids, my kids are so funny, dude. So like everybody's different. I got lucky. Got two really good ones. I'm also like I'm a girl dad. I don't have any. I felt like if I had a boy, we'd probably kill each other.
Really?
But I got two girls though, so like I just can't help it. They're too sweet.
Yeah. So then what would the difference of being a boy make?
I mean, the off chance that I had a boy and he was just like me, yeah, we'd probably hate each other. You know
Really?
what I mean? You can't have two personalities that are the same in close proximity. And I say that like there's parts of my daughters that are like very much like me. I don't know. It's different.
Hmm.
Probably just because they're my daughters. Like I just I can't.
Yeah. I'm
If I
thinking
had a
like
boy, probably fight.
it's interesting you say it's because it's too similar. Because I'm thinking like if y'all are similar, y'all be like two peas in a pod. Y'all are the same thing. You know?
I mean, I feel like yes and no. Like you would like some of the same shit, but all your bad parts would just be doubled, right? You know what I mean?
Hmm. Okay.
All the bad parts of your personality, it'd be another one in the house doing the same dumb shit. So so you might butt heads. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't have a boy, but that's just my guess. And part of that is me probably reflecting like me and my pops, like just not getting along for the longest time. We
Hmm.
get along now, but it's probably because we're both old shit. There's no time to not get along anymore. But
Oh, go for it.
no, I'm just saying with girls it's different.
Mm. What did you and your pops used to butt heads about?
I mean, I mentioned earlier that my parents were like super supportive of being an artist and shit, but
Mhm.
I guess I was more so my mom. My pops was definitely more like, you got to do something else that's gonna make money, you
Mm.
know, which I get as a parent because you don't want to see your kid struggle. You want them to be like secure. So there was definitely a period of time before he was cool with me being an artist where he was like, nah, you should be a lawyer, you should study this or be a doctor or whatever. You know, normal shit. It's not surprising that that's what he wanted me to do, but that was when we didn't get along. It's like, no, I'm not doing that shit. I
Yeah.
just want to fucking paint and draw stupid stuff all day. That's all I want to do. In my sleep, when I'm awake, I just want to draw dumb shit.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, he
Cartoon
made it work.
characters. I made it work, luckily, man. Because even there was, I mean, if you're creative, like you have moments where, like, as soon as you become a person that's responsible for feeding someone else, you start to be like, okay, like, is this gonna work? Whatever. And
Mhm.
and I was already a full-time artist, like, well before I had kids. But even then, when you're a full-time artist, and even though you're succeeding at the time, successful, whatever, you also know that sometimes like that shit could just disappear, right? Because I was working on cartoons, and if you work in television, I mean, even people who don't work in television, you know how quickly like a show could just be like canned.
Yeah.
Like my first season of working on Archer, we wrapped it. I was like, all right, cool. Like, is there a season two? I was like, and they were just basically like, I don't know.
Mhm.
We got to see how the ratings are. If the ratings are good, you got a job. If they're not good, it was nice knowing you. That's how it was. So like, there's times like that where like that shit could just go. Like TV is really cool, but it's also really stressful, and it's also like super not secure, unsecure, insecure, whatever. Like you never know because it depends on the TV ratings and shit.
Yeah. It's like it's always a chance with that kind of stuff.
Always a chance. Yeah. And I got lucky where like I mean Archer, like I forget how many seasons they got, 10, whatever, 12. I was there for 12 years. But whatever, like, you never know like how many seasons you're gonna get. So you're kind of always working with one foot out the door, looking for the next gig. Even though you like this one, you still have to be looking for the next one just in case.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels kind of like I was telling people that being a full-time artist feels like when you're one of those fishermen on the dock with like 7 rods out, and you just got like mad rods just everywhere and you're just waiting for something to kind of hit, and then as soon as you catch one,
Yeah.
you throw the other one back because it's kind of how you got to play the game.
All right, I gotta ask you since you brought that up, do you go fishing or have you gone fishing?
I've been fishing before. I used to do it a lot with my dad growing up. And
Right.
nowadays, I only go occasionally for like a deep sea fishing trip or something like that. But I
You've been
haven't.
deep sea fishing?
Yeah, yeah, I've
That's
gone
great. That sounds dope.
twice. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's like you go way out, like miles out, and it's not like regular rods. Real, it's like a heavy duty rod, and it goes
Yeah.
down like 150, 160,
Crazy.
180 feet. And these fish are strong out there. Like the ones in
Believe
like a lake, it's all right. Them ones be trying to pull you right off the boat into the water with you.
it? Yeah, yeah. Trying to end you.
Yeah, and then the water's a lot choppier out there, so like people who are prone to like seasickness, like they get it bad out there. Like, I'm not even one to get motion sickness, but like if I'm out there too long, I will start to feel queasy myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a whole different thing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never gone deep sea fishing. I've only gone regular fishing. I'm terrible at it, which sucks because I enjoy it. I love like sitting in the boat with a case of beer and just you know, like what is there to get mad at? I'm just drinking beer in a boat. But like I would go with my cousin all the time, never catch shit. And the only time I caught something, it was just like that cartoon. I caught a leather boot, just like a fucking cartoon. And then my brother's next to me, and he caught an alligator. Like at least he caught something cool. He caught an alligator. I caught a goddamn shoe.
Yeah,
And my cousin's just on their fish. It's like,
man,
dude, I've gone fishing like 100 times, and all I've caught my whole life was a fucking boot.
man. Jalil is
I
out in
enjoy fishing. I
fishing.
suck at it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Man, I know Jalil goes fishing pretty often down in Griffin. He goes
Yeah,
like a couple times a week. Like he's at it. He's about it. And
does it cook it?
sometimes, yeah, sometimes. And so I know I was hitting him up for fishing. I'm gonna see if you can come along too if you're down.
Yo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cause he'll go like at all different times of like the day or night, just whenever he feels like it. And I'm like, yo, that'd be
I
kind of
mean, in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna have a little bit more time because, like, the thing with having kids is like their schedule is my schedule,
cool.
but they're about to go on summer break, which means, dude, I never like I didn't even think even when Matilda was born, I never thought that at some point in my life, like homework would be in my life again. But I forgot about that shit. So I do homework every day now.
So how is that? Like, is it? Because I remember my mom or my dad, they'd be like, it got to a certain point where they couldn't help me with the homework anymore because it was like too hard.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like she's in kindergarten. I'm already close to not being able to help her. Like it makes you feel dumb as shit.
I was like, I wonder how that feels like to be on the other side of the homework this time.
I don't. I mean, I love helping my kids, but like the thing is, I mean, I'm sure you got like nieces and nephews or cousins or some shit. But when you talk to a kid about something serious, this is how they talk. They're like, "Yeah, so today, and then I went here, and then see Q7 purple, and like she just moves so much in the middle of one sentence that it takes like 8 hours to do homework." And it's not even like she doesn't know the shit. She just can't stay still when she's talking about the shit. And
Just,
it takes
just
it
bust
takes
apart
so
real quick.
long. It takes so long. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But he's about to be on summer break, which means this guy is on summer break and fishing sounds dope.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully one day I'll catch something that isn't a boot.
Yeah,
Come on.
catch something you can eat, man.
I'll bring this game
Oh
and we'll get
man,
late.
yeah.
Hold on. Why do I not know how to like get this in front of the camera? Anyways, yeah, that shit. That one we used to play a lot. And there's another one with this the Mongolian game with these bones. It's like goat vertebrae is the pieces.
Really? You
I
got the
like
pieces with you?
I kind of no, we because part of the game is throwing the bones and like I've lost those bones. But I can get some more and we'll play that shit.
So how do you play that?
There's different games, but like you kind of like toss them and so there's one where you kind of throw the bone into the other pile of bones, and once they separate, the bones that are not touching, you can pick up or something like that. It's been so long since I played this shit, and I'm not Mongolian, but like usual, we turned it into a drinking game, so our rules were different, and
That's
we'll play the ones that we made up.
yeah.
If that bone touches another bone, you're taking a shot. That's all you got to remember.
So you're supposed to like have them not touch, essentially.
Yeah, you knock them until they don't touch, and there's also like a thing where you like kind of flick it, and you try to like when you like if you ever played marbles back in the day, try to make it hop the other bone. But I'm also just gonna stop because some Mongolian dude's gonna be like, "You're fucking butchering this game." I'm gonna say I'm doing it wrong because we made our own rules.
It's
Yeah,
all good. It's just an abstraction. That's it. We just
yeah, yeah. Because everything's gotta be like if it's not a drinking game, I'm not playing this.
it's not a game.
It waste of my time. Yeah,
That's cool. Um, what are some things that anything are there any things out there that people misunderstand about you or about your work that you wish they would get right?
I haven't talked to too many people where like I get an inkling of them not understanding my work, but I do meet people that haven't seen my work, but they just see me and they think I'm like I mean honestly, like a lot of people think I'm like a mean guy.
Really?
I I get that a lot where they're like, "Oh, you're like such a nice guy. I thought you were like some fucking mean asshole or some shit." And I think I just have resting bitch face or resting angry face or whatever, you know.
Mm,
Beard doesn't help. I got weird eyebrows, like I don't know, man. But people just think I'm like an angry dude, and I used to be. I actually used to do anger management.
really?
Yes, I used
Interesting.
to be a violent motherfucker, and I had to do anger management. I used to get in fights all the time. When my wife first came to America, my aunt was like, "Yo, watch out! This guy gets in the fights all the time." And I was like, "Why would you tell her that?" Because I was already working on it at the time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, like I used to have issues with anger, but I like to think that I'm a pretty chill guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've never
Now,
seen you get mad, but like I'm not around you all the time, but I've never seen you be mad at anything. Like even stuff that other people would be mad at. You're like, what are it doesn't even.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I had to learn to like just be like, you know, I'm not gonna see this dude every day. Like, what's the point of me being pissed about whatever the hell he said or did today? Like, I had to learn that shit.
Mm. How did
I used to be super angry about it. I mean, I just grew up in a weird like. So I grew up in Falls Church. So people who are unfamiliar with Falls Church in the DC area, in the early '90s, it was very much TRG and Vatos Locos, two big gangs at the time. And so you're just like everything's tense because the Asian kids weren't supposed to get along with the Hispanic kids. But like my best friend at the time was Bolivian. You know, like I didn't give a fuck. We were too little to give a shit. Like 6 years old, like you know what I mean? But I guess what some people don't know is like if you come from communities that are refugees or immigrants, you got gangs that develop out of the goal to protect themselves from everyone else, right? Like you know, because the white people ain't treating them right. There's like the black community wasn't treating us right either. So you just build these protection systems, right? You're like your own army, right, to get along and protect yourself. But then that turns into two big armies, and then you got the Hispanic army that doesn't get along with the Asian army. So like, it was this weird time where like I wasn't allowed to have like Latino friends, but I had Latino friends. So when we would walk home from school, if we ran into someone from Vados Locos or someone from TRG, because we were so young, they didn't kick our ass, but they made us kick each other's ass.
what?
Yeah, yeah, because you know, I was like 5, 6 years old. They're not gonna kick our ass.
Yeah.
Like the audacity of kicking our ass, but they would be like, "Well, you guys gotta kick each other's ass because like I can't kick your ass. You're too little." So like every day we would walk home, and me and my friend, we had to just fucking fight each other every day, and we whoop each other's ass, and then we keep going home.
So like how hard were y'all going? Like were y'all like like
We had to go hard. If no one was bleeding, they wouldn't let us stop. So we had to fuck each other up.
and then that was just something y'all just understood between you two, like, hey, look, this is about
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah, we knew. We knew. We would walk home. If we didn't run into anybody, like cool. But if we did, like we knew.
that's gotta be to like to fight your best friend, like, regular, like on the regular.
Yo, every day, every day.
Oh,
And like it gets a little competitive, right? Because like we know what's up. We're not gonna get mad at each other. But also I was like, well, I'm not gonna fucking lose, bitch, because I ain't trying to be a bitch. I'm like, you gotta win. You gotta fucking win. And like I'm a pudgy fuck now, but back then he was the pudgy fuck, so I always won.
man, my best friend is like 6'4" and like almost 300 pounds. I was like, bro, I would get tossed. But even back then, he was like the same type of like proportion he was to me. Like he was always like way bigger than me. So
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm
That I
glad.
mean that was their way of like letting it slide, I guess. Like they wouldn't fuck us up. They would just get entertainment and watching us fuck each other up a little bit. I don't know. It was weird, man. Weird times.
No, but I mean I mean, I can see why that would cause a lot of like frustration and like anger in you because it's like,
Yeah,
why do you
yeah,
have
yeah, for sure, for sure. Because like I was always the smaller guy. I definitely developed like a what's his name, like an Al Pacino fucking complex, right? Where like people would be taller than me, heavier than me, and like no, I gotta show this guy that I can fuck him for sure. But it was a defense mechanism because if I didn't show them, then they would just fuck with me all the time. So I was like constantly being like, no, you can't fuck with me. Doesn't matter if you're bigger than me, taller than me. Like I'm gonna fucking drop you.
yeah.
So that was like a thing growing up, especially like I mean, you go to like Falls Church or Long Beach in California, like any like refugee heavy community, it's like that. Because not even immigrants, because immigrants is a different thing. Not that they have it easier, but it's also different because they came here by choice. You got refugees who didn't choose to come here; they just had to fucking come here because of war.
Mm.
Most like Southeast Asian people you talk to from like the 80s and 90s, like war shit. It's always a war story. And, yeah. So they just develop their own like protection system, which turns into gang.
Mm. Interesting. I would have never thought that too. I think that's the part that's so interesting. Like if if we were to look into that person's into that version of yourself, like daily life, like what was he like thinking about, and like what was he how was he like pushing through life each day?
Um, there's who's gonna fuck with me today? I guess you know what I mean.
Mm.
You're never expecting to not be fucked with. You're kind of like always expecting someone to fuck with you. Because our neighborhoods were like adjacent, and our markets were adjacent. You know, because even here at Beaver Highway, like the Asian market, either is the same or next to the
Wait,
Hispanic market. You know what I mean?
dang, yeah, it is.
We're like always butting heads. And when you're really little, like you don't give a shit. But once you reach like teenager age, they start forcing you to choose sides.
Mm.
But we were so little, we like they didn't really make us choose sides, but they did make us fight all the time.
Interesting. That's so
I don't
like
know, man, but it sucks, but it's also like I feel like it made me as tough as I needed to be
yeah,
for the time, I guess.
yeah,
When things I've heard about Long Beach and shit sounds like way worse than what I grew up with, but it was just one of those things where you got immigrants and refugees thrown into the same neighborhoods because people in charge or whatever, like white people, just push you into these neighborhoods where you got a bunch of people of color or a bunch of people who are immigrant or refugee status living in the same space, trying to get along, but no one speaks the same fucking language, so you're gonna beef no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, just so many factors that's gonna make that shit not go well.
yeah.
I
That's right, man. And then
remember, like in high school, I would get called down to the office. The cops would come. They would call me down to the office, and they would try to get me to like identify people. They were like, "Here's a picture." And it'd be like a picture of like a gang lineup, and they were like, "Hey, like, who do you know?" But like, if you live over there, you know not to like fucking mention anybody.
mm-hmm.
Like, I was born in the year of the rat, but I ain't no fucking rat. So like, they would call you down and try to get you to point people out. And I remember like one time, there was like my cousin in the picture, my girlfriend was in the picture. I was like, oh, I don't know nobody in this fucking picture.
Mm.
Send me class. I don't know nobody.
Yeah,
They would
that's
call you down, but like, yo, identify this shit because like the gangs from DC were pushing into Annandale. If you're familiar with Virginia, Northern or DC area, like that, that was where like all the immigrant gangs and shit were. I was like, no, I'm telling you this shit. Tell you about the class. Like, get the fuck out of here.
yeah. Interesting. Man, that's got to be scary too. Cause you were how old were you by then?
At that point, like 12, 11, 12 years old, when the cops were asking me questions, but I mean, that shit was going on since I was like 4.
Interesting.
Because I remember when I was 6, they made us like go steal like car stereos. Like, we had to learn how to jack car stereos.
Like the
It's
same
super
people.
weird because there would be like a shootout happening, and while the shootout's happening, they would like, okay, go run over there and like check the radio from that car because no one's gonna go in that car. But they would send us in that car. Yeah,
Yo, literally sending y'all in the dang line of fire.
yeah. Well, because there was like it was weird, man, because there was like a little bit of an understanding where shit like that would happen, so they would just like not aim for the kids. I guess
Mhm.
I don't know. It's weird.
Still, man. Like just weird shots happen too. Like some people just miss, you know, and like
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. I had somebody get shot growing up for sure. Definitely.
are you still you mentioned that you had a best friend that was Bolivian. Do you still keep in contact with him? Do you still talk to him?
No, because unfortunately, and it sucks if he sees this, but like it got to a point where like the only times he would hit me up was because he needed some money,
Mm, yeah.
like because he wanted to be in touch. So
Mhm.
yeah, but it's like that though. Can't knock him. He's not gonna be doing that unless he really needed the shit. I wasn't even mad about it. But it's also like I got too many mouths to feed. I can't be doing shit like
For sure.
that. I got kids. I got my wife. I got my mother-in-law. All living in the same house. Like I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Yeah, and it's like it's cool to have like, you know, you do a favor every now and then, but like when it's like on a regular, you're like, all right, what we
Yeah.
doing? Yeah. Hmm. So like,
All that shit makes it into the art though, man.
what'd you say?
All that stuff makes it into the art. Like
Yeah.
as much as I don't talk about it, it's in there somehow.
So how does it get in there? Is it in ways that people like are there did you incorporate it in ways that people haven't seen? Have you done any of the incorporations like purposefully? Like you ever told any
Yeah,
stories like that?
I definitely did it when I was doing like my thesis. I was down here doing my thesis at I went to SCAD down here, and for part of my thesis, I would tell some of those stories. I didn't necessarily clarify any of it if people didn't ask, but there was some of that would put there. Like I did an illustration where like it's me hiding behind a car waiting for fucking bullets to stop so I can go steal stereo, like I did illustrations of that shit. But I didn't explain it. So the drawing itself just looks like I was just me sitting next to a car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of like I did it for me a little bit and I did it for them a little bit. So like the picture of me next to the car is what they see, but the picture of me next to the car waiting for the bullets to stop to go steal the stereo is what I know.
Yeah.
So I don't know that shit, but the drawing of me sitting next to that car is me waiting next to that car because that's what I was doing at the time.
Mhm.
So I didn't explain the stories to people, but I got to get it out of my system a little bit by drawing that scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't gonna tell nobody shit, but I can draw what I want to draw, and I know what it means.
Yeah. Do you do you think that's important? Like, did that stuff help you with kind of moving through it?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there's no matter what you draw, if it comes from real life, there's some therapeutic aspect to it. So for me, it was cool to it was definitely therapeutic for me because at that time when I did it, I wasn't really talking to people about that shit.
Mhm.
And I had moments where I was like recollecting that stuff where I was like, getting kind of depressed and sad about it or angry about it, whatever, because I was remembering that shit and not talking to people about it. But I got to release some of that by drawing that stuff.
Mm. Yeah. I've always enjoyed and even envied some of the people who could pull on their negative experiences to be able to like put it in their artwork. But because of the nature of the type of work I do, it's always been hard because I'm like, all I know how to do is draw like silly characters. How do I draw about like trauma or pain, you know, using these different things? And like I'm
Yeah,
starting to try and incorporate it in a way I know how now.
yeah,
Because you can just give the silly characters weird backstories. You can give them, you
yeah,
know, those
yeah.
nuances like you had.
And that's cool, but and sometimes you cherry pick stuff. You pick things that are specifically interesting or specifically relatable to a character. You can draw stuff from real life, even if it isn't the full truth.
Yeah, man. It's been like um it's been super cool. Is there anything that that we haven't talked about yet that you think we should be talking about?
I don't know. Is there any other questions like you have from people, like certain topics?
For sure. So there was a couple. There's a
Yeah.
couple.
All right.
Um, that says, "What question do you secretly wish people would ask you?"
I would ask. I would want people to ask me what ethnicity I am because it's fun for people to guess.
Mm.
I already mentioned it earlier, but like a lot of people think I'm like Hispanic, but I'm not. I'm like 0% Hispanic. And it doesn't help that my pops named me like Rodriguez, which is super Hispanic name.
So
Or what the fuck he was thinking.
that's so interesting. I remember seeing that. Like, I
Like
think
the
it's
name.
he just likes the name.
He
Interesting.
just like the fucking name. Yeah. That's it. Because it definitely is not a Vietnamese or a Cambodian name. He just likes the fucking name. So my name is Rodriguez. Everybody thinks I grew up in a neighborhood that was like predominantly Mexican and El Salvadorian. So they just thought I was fucking Mexican. No, but I would fuck with them even though my Spanish sucks, and I would like give people directions. They probably got lost all the time. Because like I would just say shit. But yo, mira, go this way, whatever, and then you'll fucking be there.
And then they're down there looking for it.
And then down there fucking lost man of shit looking for me the next day. But yeah.
That is so
Alright.
funny to think about. Like, they just run
Yeah.
off. They can't
But
even turn
I
around.
do like that game. Because I had an employee ask me that shit the other day because I just started doing designs at this new studio for like golf head covers, like the leather covers for golf clubs.
Mhm.
And then there's one Indonesian lady. And the only reason why I knew she was Indonesian is because I've known other Indonesian people, and the accent when they speak English is similar to people who are Filipino. So I get those kind of mixed up. Not when they're speaking their native language, but when they speak English. Accent is similar. But it's
Interesting.
fun for people to guess because they always get it wrong because no, like most people think I'm Hispanic.
Mm.
And apparently, when you mix Vietnamese and Khmer, you get a fucking Hispanic looking dude.
That's
You know,
so
but only if we're not Asian or Hispanic. Because when I talk to like Latino people, they know that I'm not
mm,
Hispanic. But everyone else, they fucking know.
interesting. Mm. Okay. Have you? How do you ever doubt yourself in your work and like the kind of
I mean, I've definitely had that. I mean, who doesn't, right? But I've had that time in my life where you doubt that shit, and I've also have been long past the point where I'm like, fuck it, do your shit, do your thing, do you. So for the longest time, no, I haven't done it
so
because I'm just like I'm super content and happy with what I do, and I've also been fortunate to keep getting work. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But when I was younger, yeah, it's like, yo, choose the right thing, whatever. But I've never had a long period of that doubt because even if I wasn't surviving, I would want to make art. I don't think anyone would be able to like get me to do something else.
Yeah. So then, like, how'd you get to that point? Was it just like you just kind of just got tired of the feeling, or did you just like,
Yeah, I got tired of bitching about shit. I got tired of bitching or being a bitch. And I was like, well, okay, yeah,
yeah,
you just kind of be like, fuck, because if you get in that circle for too long, that's just all you're gonna be, right? So I was, and honestly, my situation is a little weird and different, but like when I got into anger management, that's kind of when I learned to say fuck it to a lot of shit
Mhm.
because I had to give up a lot of the stuff that was pissing me off or depressing me. So when I did the anger management, it taught me how to stop being in it because I got into fights all the time. I was a fucking asshole all the time. So I learned how to be kind and not let shit bother me. And so at the same time, I was able to be like, well, I love making art. I make art because I love it. I'm not gonna stop loving it, so I'm not gonna stop loving making it. So I was lucky enough to just have that realization where like no matter where I'm at in life, doing this shit.
yeah,
I'm making art. Like even if I was a fucking burger flipper, plumber, whatever. Props to all those people, but that's not my thing. And that's what I was doing, and I was upset about doing that, I would never be upset about making art though, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, for the most part, been fortunate enough to very rarely stray from being happy with art
Mm.
because it was always a release for me. It never felt wrong to do.
That's like poetically said. Never
Well, you
felt
know what I mean.
like
Well, like, so you get to that point, it's just it's like, well, fuck. I'm like, what am I doing? Whatever. And and even recently, where like, I don't think it's just me, but me and other people who have worked in the animation industry, there's been a lot of like, what the fuck am I gonna do right now? Because AI is fucking up a lot of shit, right? Like that's like an undeniable conversation right now.
yeah.
And like I was at that point too, where it's like, well, fuck, man, like work's getting hard to find because they're using AI to do all this shit, And if you're a painter or a graphic designer or whatever, it might be different. But like a television specifically, I can only speak from that because that's what I was doing. It's fucked up. It's just really hard to find work in that space. So I was having a hard time finding work recently, at least in the digital space. Like murals was okay, but murals was always like kind of like 50% of our workflow. It'd be nice if it was 100%, but that wasn't for me. I was doing some digital and some mural stuff, and like it was hard to find the digital artwork. But recently, I got some work designing leather head covers for golf, which sounds super weird. I don't know shit about golf, but the approach to designing for that product is very similar to designing for like t-shirts and skateboards. So it's really fun.
Hmm.
And I've been lucky to get like a bunch of work doing that right now. So I'm having a blast doing that. I got my stability, I'm feeding my kids, my family, and still getting murals when I can. So like right now I'm in a good space. Got nothing to bitch about. Thankful that I got work, you know what I mean? When you got people to feed, you're thankful for like the smallest amount of work. So I'm super happy right now. I got nothing to bitch about. Except for AI, fuck that shit. For
Yeah.
art. AI is good for medicine and a lot of things, but when it comes to like creating an image, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah. And it like does stuff so quick, like within, I mean, a second, and then they got something.
It pisses me off.
But
I've
I
heard music. I've heard music made by AI that was good, and I was
really,
mad that I liked it. You know what I mean?
I didn't
Like
even
I
know AI
saw
made
someone do a
music.
prompt that was like, "Hey, do System of a Dime, System of a Down," but it sounds like some yacht rock shit. I was like, "Fuck is this?" And it goes, plays the music. It was so good.
Mm.
It pissed that it was so good. So in other spaces, it's like I could tolerate it, but when it comes to making an illustration, like don't fucking come near me with that shit. I don't want to see it. I don't wanna see that shit. 'Cause it's undeniable. It's not going anywhere. I like it for the medical field. They're doing a lot of cool shit in the medical space with AI. People who never saw shit in their life or haven't seen shit for like 8 years can now see shit. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
Like you told me you made a fucking digital painting with AI. No, you fucking didn't. You typed in two fucking words and showed him a picture of your fucking front teeth and came over with a piece. Like, get the fuck out of Get the
It's
fuck out
really
of
how it
here.
is. It's really how they
You know
put
what I
it
mean?
together too.
I like putting in the work. I like spending the time and being pissed and stressed about an image for like a week until I come up with a piece. Like I like that part. I like the process.
Yeah.
I really do. And as much as I enjoy someone enjoying the end result when I do a mural or a painting, it's not as dope to me as the process. I like the process because there's a lot of shit that I do that's behind the scenes or very personal that people don't see that I just love. Like I guess the closest thing I could say is like I told you earlier, like I like making fan art of my friends. I don't do fan art. I mean, I don't do a lot of fan art of like video games or cartoons as much as I like that topic. I don't draw a lot of that shit. Sometimes I do because you like it. But
Like that.
what I have more fun doing is drawing fan art of my friend. It's not that I don't like fan art, but I just rather draw red. I'm saying,
Yeah. Mm.
you know,
So then, like, um, you said that you like that a lot of the work you do behind the scenes in the process is like your favorite part. Um, I know
yeah,
that sometimes you'll have sketches. I mean, even times where like we painted together, it's like you'll come out to the wall with like half a sketch and like just a bunch of cans. You're like, yeah, we'll figure it out. You know, like how do you,
yeah.
how do you go about that? Like what's in your head? You know, when you pull up to the wall and you got just a little bit and you got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we're gonna like make a whole thing.
I mean, what's in my head is like this is gonna be fun, right? Like I can't make art with it feeling stressful. And I know that some people feel stressed not having the plan to do the bigger piece or whatever. If you're a mural artist, right? A
Mm.
lot of people like to have a plan. And I get that, but for me, I just like to play with it, right? So I like having a half-ass plan and figuring it out because I like that part of the process. Like I like making the shit. Like I love learning the dimensions of a wall because I love drawing a piece that looks like. Since most of my work is character based, I love drawing characters that look like they're cramped into the square footage of the wall. So if you tell me it was like 10 by 13, I love drawing a guy that looks like, oh shit, like he's cramped in there because it's only 10 by 13. I love drawing shit like that. Because it makes it kind of interactive with the wall, right?
Yeah,
And
kind of
we did
brings it
this
to life.
piece. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's this so the crew's gonna be painting at Westfield Grocery. Shout out to Westfield Grocery this weekend. But there's this one wall we've been painting that spot for years now. But there's this one wall on the side of that building that had this like strip of glass that goes horizontal that like nobody wanted because it's like this huge chunk of negative space in the wall. But I was like, fuck it. It looks like the Geordi from Star Trek. You know, he's got the little beam. And that's what I painted that first year. I was like, I took that slit and just turned it into his visor because I like taking the wall and incorporating it into the design. So like, and some people don't like that shit, but I like that. I like trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Mm. So then, like
It's
for yeah, yeah, I think it's dope, and I've seen that wall, and or at least I've seen a picture of when you painted that. I think you painted over it since, but I've
yeah, yeah.
seen
Since
that
you've been
before,
like,
and it's like for somebody. I know some people who like they won't go unless everything is in order, like everything's already
yeah,
laid out, and they have all
yeah,
the
yeah. I
colors,
know people like,
and so it's
and
like
I have people in my crew that are like that too. Everyone's different.
yeah, so
But
like
me personally, I love chaos a little bit, right?
yeah.
I like I like shit to be unpredictable. I like to problem solve on the fly. I like I guess I like problems a little bit. It's a little bit fun to kind of figure this shit out on site. Because if it's too formulaic, to just do that shit on a fucking computer. When I come to paint, I want to fucking paint. I want to figure it out. I want to have problems. I want to have issues.
Interesting.
Not everybody's like that, and that's totally cool. But for me, I want the disconnect to feel like a disconnect. I don't want it to feel like digital art. I want it to feel like a fucking mess. I gotta figure it out. I might run out of paint. I might not, but it's okay because I'm gonna take 10 shots when I do the shit, and I got the boombox going. It's all good. It's all good. In the end, it's all good. I got music. I got music. That's like a big factor. If I don't have music, I'm fucking pissed.
Oh man, gotta have it
You
on your
gotta, I
record.
gotta have music while painting.
Gotta have it. Gotta have
I don't know how people paint without music. It's that's like I like weird, but that's one level of weird I do not understand. If you paint with no music,
I
I don't know
like
where
it.
you're from.
It can't be like it can be music or it can be silence, but like because sometimes I'll just like to just think, and it's kind of like meditative for me, especially if I'm doing like line work or something, and I'm just kind of moving. I'll like just sit there
Yeah.
and just kind of like let the thoughts flow. But
Yeah.
but yeah, like the if I'm ever doing like just big fills or stuff I don't have to think about too much, I like the music going. But yeah, sometimes it is like meditative, like just in straight silence for me. But it can't be like that middle. Like it can't be something loud and annoying going on in the back, or like or just
Yeah.
some weird ambient sound, like somebody won't stop their car alarm or
Yeah,
something.
you gotta set the tone. I gotta bring my boombox and play my shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that, and honestly, as long as there's some loud shit, I like noise, man. I like noise. If someone's blasting some shit, I'm happy. But the thing is most of the times they're not, so I have to bring my boombox.
Mm.
I need, I don't know. I get you though. But me, can't I can't have silence. I need noise.
So if somebody wanted to approach the wall more like you, say they're like, I mean, even for me too, like there's a strong degree of like I like to have everything in order. I don't have to. I can figure it out if I need to, but I like to have everything together. But sometimes it gets on my nerves because sometimes I don't have the time to get it all together. And I only
Yeah,
really go that way if I have to, but I'm usually not satisfied as whenever I did have it all together. And
yeah.
how do you uh kind of train that like that muscle of like getting out there to figure it out?
I mean, I've painted with other people that are like that need to have the shit in order. I've kind of just embraced the messiness of having a loose plan because I don't necessarily approach it with no plan. I definitely have like at least a loose plan
Mhm.
because I don't I guess like to simplify it, I don't necessarily need direction, but I at least need an idea. If that makes sense.
Mhm.
If I have the idea, like I'm good to go. If I have the idea and some direction, that's nice. But if I only have the idea, I'm still good to go. And I might fuck up and I need to fix some shit, but I'm good to go. And I think that's the difference between artists who approach shit the way I do and artists who don't approach the shit the way I do. Because there's artists that need the shit lined up because they don't want to make mistakes. But for me, I kind of just want to like do a one over and then fix the fuck ups. Because if I focus too long on not fucking up, it takes too long. It's faster to fuck up and fix it than to try not to fuck up,
Yeah, that's
if
true.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like people get so caught up in not wanting to fuck up that they waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I like not waste fucking time. Like as loose as I am, I don't like wasting time. So I'll go in with a loose idea, fuck it up real good, and then fix it. And then fix it. You know? Because fixing shit is faster than waiting to figure it out, I feel like, for the most part. And there's definitely some artists that are probably different, but for me personally, I fix shit faster than I figure shit out.
Has it ever been a time where you weren't able to figure it out or like fix it, where it was like you just had to do a hard reset?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Not on a mural, but I've had that like happen like during like drinking doodles. Um, and there's a luxury for that, which is why I guess it's not so stressful. But there is a time limit to drinking doodles. You got to finish the shit by the end of the night. But for those events, I've plenty of times where I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the nature of the event, though. I think because the event is so chill, I had the comfort to do that. For a client, I don't know if I would do that, but luckily for a client, I don't really approach things that way. I usually have the idea. If the plan is not set, I at least have the idea well thought out for a client,
Yeah.
you know?
Because you get like the
And
extra
I
time to
might
do
be
so
able,
too.
yeah, because I try to like, you get to points where sometimes you just gotta say yes to shit because you get pay bills or whatever. But when I'm in a comfortable space, I try to only take clients that are gonna deal with my level of bullshit, right? So if they're like, "Hey, I want this," I'm like, "Cool, I could do that," but like, you need to let me like take this long, or you need to let me do this many revisions, or you need to let me freehand this shit. Whatever I'm feeling, I'm always very communicative with the client. Not always the same, but whatever I'm feeling in that moment, I'm always like, "Hey, this is how I feel like painting right now. So if you're down with me making this shit up on the fly, let's do it. Or if you're down with me doing sketches first and sending you this idea and you give me a one round of notes, but not two, let's do it." You know what I mean? Because that's definitely something I do a lot where like I'm open to you giving me notes, but you get one round. After that, I'm fucking painting what I want to paint. Um, and that's cool because they'll be as clear as possible that first round of notes and at least get in the key elements that they want in that first round of notes. And then after that, it's like I get to do whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm just doing what I want to do because obviously I want input from the client. But I'll tell them things like you get one round of notes, and so they tell me everything they need to know in that first round. And then after that, it's just me penning whatever I want plus the notes that they gave me.
Yeah. I think that helps a lot too because like you said, it makes them like really dial down what it is they want because they know
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
needed that
yeah,
one chance. So
yeah. And because that's normally what I do is like this price includes this plus one round of notes. You can get as many round of notes as you want, or if I'm not feeling that, I'll tell them you get two rounds of notes. But those rounds will cost this much, you know, and you can tell them like it costs 10% of total or whatever. It's up to you. But I usually do a percent. It's like you get it included one round. If you want to go two or three rounds, that's 10% of total added to whatever. And you can pay 20, 40, whatever you fucking want. Just as an example, I just tell them like it's this percent if you want to go beyond the first round.
yeah.
But it's good because it makes them like focus and be like, all right, I want this. Let me not pay you more than I need to and just be fucking clear. Because that's usually the issue is they just don't know what they want and you do some shit and then they react to it, which is fair because some people just don't fucking know. So you give them that one round. I do some shit, you don't like it, do this instead, or you do like it, but add this to it, and then cool. But if they're the type of person that just still doesn't fucking know, all right, cool. You get around two or three, but it's gonna cost this much. 10%, 10%, 15%, whatever the fuck you want to do. Or 50 per hour or 80 per hour, whatever. But as long as you charge them for that shit, you're good to go.
I'm taking little notes as we speak.
Yeah, charge them for the notes. And also do like a minimum, right? So like maybe they're super easy in their notes and the job is only gonna take you fucking 30 minutes, but you also don't want to take a 30-minute job if it's only gonna pay you $30. So you tell them like, hey, you were very clear, but I can't take a job that's less than fucking 500 or 1,000 or whatever your minimum is.
Trying to maintain that minimum.
Yeah.
Do you ever get burnt out? Like as somebody who enjoys drawing so much, I wonder if you're that type of person that like I can't do this right now.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gets burnt out. I feel like my burnout isn't normally like from drawing too much. I feel like my burnout comes from trying to articulate what a person wants me to draw like so for example, like they're just not clear on what they want.
Yeah.
So you're trying to figure the shit out for them because they don't fucking know what they want. That kind of shit will burn me out sometimes.
Yeah.
But the act of drawing, nah, I never get tired of that shit. And figuring out what they fucking want, yeah, that'll burn you out.
Yeah. I
That'll
heard
burn
that
you.
that burnout comes from like from things that you don't necessarily want to do. And so the way to kind of like you just feel overwhelmed with stuff that you don't enjoy. And so like the way
Yeah,
to
or
overcome burnout is to
sometimes it's not even from. Yeah, I mean, definitely that. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing, but sometimes also comes from not necessarily not wanting to do it, but just them not knowing what the fuck they want because you get tired trying to answer the questions for them.
right.
You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like I could draw all day, and a lot of times if I get burnt out, it's not because I'm tired of drawing. It's tired. I'm just tired of trying to like figuring out what they want because they don't know what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like it's like that uh trying to trying to imagine it's like you're searching for something in their head. And like you can't
Yeah,
reach in there and grab it, but you gotta like just
yeah,
keep shooting and hoping it hit.
yeah.
And it's like, oh
Because a lot of times they don't know what they want. They just want something cool. And maybe they saw some shit 6 months ago that they love, but they can't remember what they saw 6 months ago. So they're trying to tell you what they saw 6 months ago. But because they don't know what they fucking saw 6 months ago, they're telling you some random ass shit. So, yeah, that stuff burns me. Drawing, no, I could draw all, but thinking about what they want, that'll burn you.
man.
Sure.
Do you ever have um do you ever go back to old sketchbooks and like old ideas and try to like reimagine these these things? Like
All the time.
I felt like when I was a kid, I had like I think the kid version of me had better ideas than I do now. But it's like now
Yo,
I just
well,
have a
that
skill.
that's why you should do that because yeah, yeah, yeah. I go back to my old sketchbooks all the time. I like revisiting old shit
Yeah, it's like
because a
they'll
lot of times that old shit is real stupid, but you find a way to make it relevant.
yeah. And sometimes like it might be something that you didn't like before. Like you can remember drawing it and you were like, I'm not feeling this one. And then you come back later and you were like, this was actually fire. Like, let me see about this now.
Yeah, you just gotta find a way to make it work.
So you also have a new thing coming up too, or not coming up, it's already out. But that you've been working on called Mini Boss Gear. So for those that don't know
Yeah.
what Mini Boss Gear is, what's that?
So mini boss gear is for though. So well, inspiration was I always thought mini bosses were more fun than final boss in a video game. They're just always like kind of weirder, more interesting. But just to play on the words mini boss because I have kids, I'm like, oh yeah, it kind of sounds like kid stuff. Um, so I started mini boss gear for people who have kids or just the young at heart people, which is probably people like us who love like cartoons or video games. But yeah, just weird shit that's like inspired by retro game stuff without it being directly fan art, if that makes sense. So like my main character for Mini Boss Gear is very Mega Man inspired, but it's not Mega Man's fan art. Like he doesn't have the Mega Buster, but he has a helmet who kind of looks like Mega Man. Um, so I like doing that kind of shit where it's like almost fan art, but not quite fan art. But yeah, Mini Boss Gear.
What do you what do you what do you plan to or where do you plan to take that like that idea or that line of things? I know that right now, to my understanding, it's it's like a line of clothes, like just for kids and stuff like that right now. But you plan to.
Yeah. I mean, it's an apparel line, but it's very much inspired by me growing up playing certain types of video games and watching certain types of TV shows. So there's like an element of nostalgia to it, but you don't have to necessarily know what the references are. You just gotta kind of have to vibe with the genre, right? So if you like cartoons and video games, you should like the stuff that I'm designing for Mini Basket, even if you didn't play or watch the same shit that I did.
Mhm.
But yeah, so the adult sizes are coming soon. Because I did that jetpack one, and I keep having people ask me like, "Yo, make that jetpack one in adult sizes and rock that shit."
Yeah, I will be making a purchase when that comes through then. For sure. For sure. Shoot, man. Is there I think I asked you already, but do you think that there are any other topics that you'd like to cover, or just anything um that you're curious about, or that you've just been thinking about recently that we haven't necessarily touched on yet?
I think for me, I'm interested in the topic of affordable ways to create art.
Hmm.
Specifically, if you're someone who wants to make digital art, but you're more affordable options, right? Because some people like can't buy an iPad Pro or whatever. Like I get that because that shit ain't cheap, you know. And I'm an Android person, so I like options that you get in the Android space. Like I will never. I'm a Samsung guy because I like that this shit comes with the pen and I can draw on my phone. But some people don't give a shit about drawing on their phone. But for me, like I like being able to draw everywhere. So I like that my phone has a pen shoved into the bottom of it and I can just draw some shit. Like I love that. But some people don't care about that. But if you are the type of person that is, explore some Samsung phones, man, because like you can get it cheaper than an iPhone and you can draw shit wherever you go. You can plug an Android phone into a Cintiq if you happen to have a Cintiq or a Yoyocam or an XP pen or a Huon. All that shit, they work with Android phones. I love that shit because it's an affordable way to create art. Like if you're a person that maybe splurged on your phone, but you can't also get a laptop and a tablet, but you have the phone, yo, you can plug this phone into that shit and make some art. I love that. I do it all the time. I'm one of the weird few people that will do that shit, but I love it. I love plugging my phone into shit and seeing what I can draw.
Interesting. So what do you draw? Like, what program do you use? Do you use like just the Notes app and you draw on that, or?
No. So for Android, you can use Sketchbook, Krita. Krita is one of the best ones
Mhm.
because you can import Photoshop brushes. So if you have access to the brushes, but you don't have access to paying for Photoshop,
Mhm.
you can use Krita. And so you use the Photoshop brushes. It runs on the phone and the tablet. I love it. I love it.
Interesting.
I love it.
Interesting.
Yeah, man. I'm all about being able to ball in the budget when it comes to making art shit.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that they gotta have the supreme, or like the ultimate, or this, like they need all the
Yeah,
colors, or they need this better thing, and it's like, nah.
yeah.
You.
You're just trying to like. I remember the first time I told someone that I was doing like digital art, like, "Oh, you're fucking fancy." I'm like, "No, man. Digital art is cheaper than buying paint all the time. You know what I mean? Buying paint, buying acrylic, buying oil paint, buying brushes, buying spray paint, buying caps. All that shit is way more expensive than paying for like an app. So if you're just trying to like get your draw on, get an Android phone or an Android tablet because it's usually there's certain apps that I think are more more powerful on like an iPhone or not iPhone, iPad. But if you're just trying to illustrate, especially if it's not vector based shit, if I didn't do vector art, honestly, I would just do Android shit. I would just do Samsung phones, Samsung tablets, Android phone, Android tablet. Only reason I do mess with iPads is because they're the only ones that have good vector art apps. But if you're just a person who draws, illustrates, and you're not a graphic designer, you don't need that shit. You just need an illustration app like Credit, which is free.
And
PC, Linux, and Android.
hmm, I know there's also another really cool app that I learned. Nuri actually put it on. He put me on to it last episode. It's called Drawpile, and it's basically like the Magma Studio thing where you can have multiple people in on the same like
I
canvas or
love
whatever.
Language Studio. I've never used Dropbox.
Yeah,
Sounds
apparently it's like it's a little smoother, a little better. Um, and I wanted to download it and try it out, but yeah, like the for like the collaboration art.
Let me know when you do. I've used Magma Studio. I do like Magma Studio. You can export PSDs and shit. It's free. There's a free version. Um, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's another thing too. Definitely gotta find a wall one of these days to paint.
Yo, me and you have been talking about a wall for years. We have to. We have to because our styles are so compatible.
Yeah, think it would
For
just
sure.
work. Like it has no choice but to work. Like it would just
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Literally has no choice but to work.
yeah. It's like water and tea. You know, it's like it's so close. It's so
Yeah,
close.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm
Yep.
excited.
Like, sweet tea and lemonade. We can make an Arnold Palmer and we just got a fucking wall.
Yeah,
We just got a wall.
find something just space. Really make that. I'm super excited for it. Yeah, man. I think this has been super cool. I appreciate you coming just to do this once again, and just want to thank you for just
Yeah,
being.
I appreciate. I know I rambled about a lot of random bullshit, but I love hanging out and talking. So thank you.
No, this is perfect, man. I appreciate you like doing all of that. That's just like I was saying earlier. That ramble, go like say all the things you need to say, because you know
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is
Rambles are good.
yeah, this is why I had you on, just because I wanted to learn more just about the person and the artist, you know. And so this was an amazing conversation. I feel like I learned a lot about you. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about art, and I think that this conversation will help a lot of people as well jump over some of the hurdles in their lives too. And appreciate you being willing to do that and like be vulnerable about certain parts of your life and things too.
Yeah, of
Just
course.
shooting. You just
I appreciate you, brother. I know I see you because I always see you. But to everybody else, do your thing. Doesn't matter what you look like. But if you look like me and you got questions, hit me up. If you
yeah.
don't look like me and you got questions, hit me up. Everybody has their point of view on some shit. And yeah, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Can you want to give us an outro and just let us know where we can find you, where we can support, where we can um where we can see you in the city and all the
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, for me, the Killamari on Instagram, but also please check out the crew, Lotus Shooters Club. And then also, if you just love like fresh gear and fun designs, I'm gonna be doing some uh fun stuff with mini boss gear. Right now it's just kid sizes, but it's not just for kids, it's for people who are young at heart. So yeah, minibossgear.com. They include some adult sizes soon, new designs and new sizes coming up. Well, thank you so much.
putting all those things in the chat as we speak. I'm link in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And then play this fucking game. We're gonna play this. We're gonna get a wall, and we're gonna play this fucking game.
I'm super down. I'm ready.
All right.
What's the Can you remind me of your website name again?
Killamari.com. KILLAMARI.com. Like calamari. Killa.
Cool, man. Put everything in the chat so folks know where to find you, and it's like direct links to it. Should be good.
Yeah. Well,
Appreciate
thanks for the time, man.
it. Absolutely.
Anything art or anger management, let me know. I've been there. Fucking been there. All right.
Thanks so much. All right, dog. We'll catch you later.
Yo. Peace, man. Thank you.
Followers. Followers. Power. Followers. Followers. Power.